What's going on, guys? Welcome to Zach Milne Talks Live, our live show that we do almost every Wednesday. I'm your host, Zach, of the show and of the channel. Honored to have you guys here. Thank you for joining. And today, we're just doing a live Q&A community night because it is the end of the month. Even though I didn't really do too many shows in November, at least it doesn't feel like I did, it's still the end of the month. And at the end of the month, we just sit back, we kind of step away from the news that's going on in the entertainment world, and we just hang out together as a community. I answer your questions, you send them in, or vice versa. So how you guys doing tonight? Thank you everybody for being here. I already got a number of you guys in the chat, and a lot of you guys were here early in the chat. Dakota Man Movies, Collective Movie Man, The Laser, and Fire Earth 2. We got Nathan's Random Movies, Ace Avenue. Thank you guys so much for your patience, and thank you for being here so early. And I'm excited to get into the show with you guys because, I haven't, I think 2 weeks now, I haven't done the show on Wednesday. It was Wicked Wednesday last Wednesday, so that explains why that show wasn't there. My wife and I, we went out, we went and saw Wicked. Wasn't sure how that was going to play for me, and it played really, really well. I loved Wicked, and the review is up on the channel if you haven't checked it out yet. It's actually doing pretty well, so thank you everybody who checked out that review. And for you guys that are new to the show, not quite sure how this works, you can just send in a live comment or question into the chat at any point during the show, and it will get answered. But for those who want to send in a little extra support to the channel, we do have a super chat guide. If you want to send in a super chat to kind of just help out the channel a little bit more. I know a lot of you guys have channels of your own, so I like to help you guys out for helping me out. So for $1.99, you get a community post made at the end of the show linking to your channel. For $2.99, you get the community post as well as the link of your channel in the description of this video. And for $4.99 or more, you get the community post, the link in the description of this video, as well as next episode's video, and a special video shout out. But of course, super chats are not required to get your comment or question answered. And we did have some super chats last show, not last week. We didn't do a show last week, but last show we did get some super chats in here, and they were from our beloved channel members as well, Ace and Have You Seen That with T. So starting with Have You Seen That with T, guys. T is an awesome guy. He does movie reviews, he does live streams. He's admitted to taking a little bit of a break, but he is back. He just put out a Gladiator 2 movie review, so you guys can head on over to T's channel, check him out. He's he doesn't understand how funny some of his remarks are. He comes on Members Talk Live on Saturday. We have a great time. And yeah, definitely go over and check out Have You Seen That with T. His link is down in the description below. And while you're at it, also head on over and check out the Ace Avenue. Ace is a huge supporter of the channel. Thank you for all that you've done for the channel, Ace, and T as well, beloved channel members. But the Ace Avenue, he's got movies, TV, and sports. So if you're a Yankees fan, baseball fan, he's got a ton of live streams where he does play-by-plays of the what do you call it? The game? I guess you would call it the game. He does play-by-plays of the game. He does trailer reactions. He does movie reviews. Now that the Yankee season, I believe, is over, Ace has said he's going to go and do some more movie content. So definitely go check out both of these guys' channel. That's, again, the Ace Avenue. And Have You Seen That with T? They are linked down below in the comment section below. And thank you to T and Ace for the generous super chats and for all the support that they give as just viewers of the show, members of the show, and as friends. I appreciate you guys so much. And with that out of the way, guys, let's just get into it. Let's get into your live comments and questions. That's why we're here tonight, to hear from you. But before we hear from you, let's see if you guys can hear from me, because I'm going to check the chat real quick and make sure that no one's saying you can't hear me. Good. Okay, looks like we're good. All right, so let's get this ball on the roll, the show on the go. What do you want to say? I don't know. Let's go. Dakota Man Movies. What's going on, Dakota? Thanks for joining, my friend. Says, hey, Zach. That was an aggressive hey. He said, sorry, man. Says, hey, Zach. Did you see that Stranger Things is now TVMA? What do you think that means for season 5? Wasn't it always TVMA? Wasn't Stranger well, because that last season they did, that got they threw people in like gladiator pits with the demigorgons. There was some blood splatter. I'm pretty sure it was TV. If not always, it was TVMA in season 4 for sure. There's no way season 4 wasn't TVMA. And if it is TVMA for the very first time, I mean, the kids are not kids anymore. It's kind of weird to think about, but yeah, they're grown up. They can handle more mature. I mean, they got more mature as the seasons went along, anyways, but now they can get even more mature. I do suspect that season 5 is going to be more violent, more off the wall craziness. But I don't. That doesn't surprise me because I don't think it was ever not TVMA. But I could be wrong about that. But if it wasn't, I'm surprised because last season was they did some things that I don't think you can do on just a PG or PG-13 show even. Collective Movie Man, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining as always, my friend. Says, hey Zach, how you doing tonight? I'm doing pretty well. Did some overtime at work, little bit tired, but always energetic, always happy to be here with you guys. Let's see. Are you going to say, have you watched the first episode of Dune Prophecy? I have not watched the first episode of Dune Prophecy. I'm trying to work through Cobra Kai season 6, part 2. I'm on episode 10. So I think I'm like halfway through part 2 at this point, trying to catch up on some movies as well, playing the end of the year catch up as I always do. And so I haven't watched Dune Prophecy. I was listening to the John Campea show though, and he was reading some first reactions, and they were saying if you're not super deep into the Dune lore, the show might lose you. That's made me a little bit nervous and a little bit hesitant to start the show because I'm not that I'm not deep into Dune lore. I only know from the movies. I know this is like thousands and thousands of years before the movies. So I'm not going to lie. I'm not super excited for Dune Prophecy. I might check it out. I need to hear more word of mouth, I think, before I jump right into it. Because when I heard that, like, oh, I don't know Dune lore. So I feel like I'm just going to be lost. So I'm spending my time elsewhere, but I may get there. We'll see. The Laser, what's going on, dude? Saying yes. Yes, man. I feel the same way. It's good to be back on here. It's good to be with you guys. A highlight of the week for sure. Laser says, did you see the new trailer for Elio? The concept looks like the best that Pixar has had since Soul, and I love the cinematography, alien designs, and world building. What do you think? Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on. Like, I don't want to rain on your parade. I saw the Elio trailer before Moana, and I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just like a snooty, back in my day kind of thing. But like, it doesn't look like what I'm used to getting from Pixar. Like it looks fine. Like there's nothing about it to me that looks that overly interesting, or even that like new. And there isn't anything about it that looks totally awful and terrible. I mean, there's a part in the trailer where Elio is with the aliens or whatever. He's like, "This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen." He's like, "That's the bathroom," and that got a little chuckle out of me. But no, when I was sitting there, because I played before Moana 2 last night, when I was sitting there watching the trailer, I was like, it just doesn't feel like Pixar to me. But Pixar, you know what? They have a way of subverting expectations and making you cry when you didn't expect it. So maybe Elio will end up being my favorite. Is it next year? Favorite movie of next year? It's got to be next year if they're putting out trailers. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not hyped about it at the moment. It's not really even on my radar. So we'll see. It could be a surprise hit for me next year. Let's see. We got Enviro Earth 2. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. He says, why was there no show last week? Yeah, like I mentioned, it was Wicked Wednesday. My wife made it very clear. I was taking her to see Wicked the minute it came out. We thought it was coming out Thursday, but I checked our theater and it was like, hey, it's out Wednesday. It's a early fan screen, and they never do that around here. But we ended up going to that on Wednesday. So obviously I couldn't do the show. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad because I loved Wicked. I had such a great time at Wicked, and my wife and I both enjoyed it, so it was good. But yeah, no show last week for that reason. Dakota Man Movies says, are we still getting the smile reaction? Yeah, the smile reaction. I think so. It's still in the editing bay. I haven't done too much with it yet. Well, that's not true. I'm about halfway through the editing process of it. It still needs work though. It's not cleaned up yet. So that's gonna take some. I'm just a little bit. I feel like I dated it because at the beginning of the video, I'm like, it's spooky season, happy Halloween, and obviously it's not anymore. It's November. It's not even. It's gonna be December by next week. So kind of past spooky season, but I do think it's going to drop. I'm trying to prepare for next year a little bit. I'm shooting some videos that are going to be airing in like January and February and stuff, because baby time is getting, my wife and I are expecting, for those of you who don't know, baby time is going to be getting very close in January, February. So I'm trying to pre-prepare content that I can put out during those months, that I can just have scheduled to drop, and then I can be off with my wife and the baby or whatever. She might be giving birth and a video might drop, you never know. But that's how I'll be able to do that. And I'm thinking the smile reaction might be one of those. I might hold on to that until like January or February. I also want to do Smile 2. So I may shoot it, because I hear Smile 2 is even scarier than the first one. For those of you who have seen that, you can vouch for that or not. But Smile, when you guys watch the reaction, Smile may have beat the Ring reaction for the most tense and the most suspense I was in for a movie. You guys who are longtime viewers know I'm a scaredy cat. Horror is not really my forte. You will see why that is when you watch the Smile reaction. I'm cracking myself up watching the edit back. I'm not going to lie to you. So yeah, I would expect that to come, honestly, maybe January. And then I'm hoping I can shoot a Smile 2 reaction and get that out a week or two after the first Smile. But no promises. I'm not making any promises, not committing to anything. Life is a whirlwind, and I don't know if I'll be able to commit to any of that. By the way, we got the Ace in here. What's going on, Ace? Member for 10 months, dude. Congratulate 10 months, dude. I appreciate all that support. That is incredible to me. Thank you, Ace, so much. Says happy Thanksgiving to everyone tomorrow. Time to get fat. Yeah, all the US citizens, which is the majority of my chat from what I see on my analytics. You guys have Thanksgiving happening this weekend. So a happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys in the States. My Thanksgiving happened over a month ago, so not Thanksgiving here in Canada, but happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you guys have a great, is it a weekend? It's Wednesday, so I guess a long weekend. Have a great long weekend, everybody. And Jay Pylon's in here saying salute and sending in a $5 super chat. Dude, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And beloved channel members, so thank you very much for supporting the channel on that level as well, my friend. All right, let's see, where did we leave off here? Let's see here. We got Enviro Earth 2 saying, do you know if Red 1 will be available for streaming before Christmas? I would think so. If not, I think that's a pretty dumb move. I mean, the theatrical window is just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and it's Amazon. They put it in theaters. I really don't know how much more of a run it's going to have, but you could also make the argument that keeping it in theaters in Christmas time will help the box office, people go into it. I really don't think it will. I think Red 1 is already running out of steam. So I would suspect, if they're smart, they probably will put a big push of that on their streaming service and probably get it out before Christmas, because you don't want that landing on your streaming service in January. Like, you want to capitalize on the people with the Christmas spirit. So go after them. And I would be surprised. I will say that. I will be surprised if Red 1 isn't available for streaming by like December 20th, even. All right. The Laser says 35 days of 2024 left. This year has not been very good, with some good moments in there. How will you look back at 2024? If you're talking about personal life, 2024 for me has been a big year of change. I moved, I changed jobs, I'm going to become a father. It's a monumental kind of year for me, 2024, in my personal life. If you're talking about the movies, as we're here to do, I continue to look back on 2024 as overall a pretty disappointing movie year. Definitely some highlights in there. There's some things in there that I absolutely loved. Deadpool and Wolverine was fantastic and so much fun. Abigail was a surprise for me. I loved Abigail. Wicked. I love Wicked. Dune Part 2 was fantastic. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was fantastic. But there was a lot of duds this year for me. Joker 2 was a massive disappointment. Moana 2, speaking of my review that dropped last night, that was a massive disappointment for me. Like, big movies that I was looking forward to that just didn't really deliver. And I feel like I walked out of a lot of movies this year in particular more disappointed than excited. And I feel terrible about that, because I like to be positive. I like to have positive community and positive word of mouth around movies and having fun talking about movies. And I feel like, and some people have told me, I've been a real negative Nelly on my channel recently. Like there was like a couple weeks straight where I didn't recommend like any movie, and they just weren't working for me. So honestly, for the year of 2024, when it comes to the movies, I'm disappointed by it. I think it's a disappointment. Now, there's definitely movies in there I haven't seen that I got to catch up on that are fantastic and great that I'm not even mentioning here because I haven't seen them. And so the whole year is not like a big disaster or anything. I even really enjoyed like Twisters. Twisters was a nice play, and Challengers. Challengers was great. So there's definitely some nuggets in there that I really enjoyed. But overall, the ones that I was really anticipating and excited for, they really failed to deliver this year, which is disappointing. The Laser says Sonic 3 is tracking to earn an over 55 million on its domestic box office opening weekend, while Mufasa is eyeing a 50 million. How much can these films make overall? Yeah, it's a good question. I think Sonic 3, there's more buzz around Sonic 3. Here's what I think. I think in our fandom, in our movie community that, we all watch Sean Chandler, Jeremy Jahns, John Campea, 3C Films, all of us who consume that stuff, the excitement for Sonic 3, the buzz there is bigger. But the general families, the general audience with families, with kids, having family over for the holiday season, the ones that aren't online talking but are still excited for movies to come, Mufasa, the Lion King, I would not underestimate. They played the Mufasa Lion King trailer before Moana 2 last night, and you could feel the energy in the room. Like, just the fact that it was attached to Lion King when it opens up with Timon and Pumbaa and the baboon creature thing, whatever his name is, Rafiki, I can't remember what his name is. When they popped up on screen, there was a lot of kids and family in my screening for Moana 2 because it was the first screening of the day, and there was gasps and there was excitement, and people are excited for Mufasa Lion King. Don't kid yourself, for sure. So I think the overall buzz in our community is there for Sonic 3. I suspect Mufasa is going to be the winner. Sonic 3 I could see getting as big as, honestly, if this thing makes like $500 million, they should be popping champagne bottles. Like that I think that's very doable, but I could see it hitting, like, if it's good, if the fans get what they came for, if it delivers, 600 to 700 million is not out of the question. I think it could go as high as 750 million. I think that's kind of a good cap on Sonic. Anything beyond that will be exceptional for Sonic, I think. Mufasa, the Lion King, I still think is, if it's good, if audiences like it, but even like the Lion King live action remake they did in 2019, not everyone loved it, still crossed $1 billion. This has the Lion King name on it. It's not the Lion King story. So I don't think it's guaranteed to get that big, but I still think that Lion King could easily do 800, 900 million. It could hit that billion. I'm not expecting it to, but I think 800, 900 is not out of the question for Lion King. So that's all predictions, just based on word of mouth, what I'm reading, what I'm hearing. I could be totally off. If Sonic 3 makes $1 billion, I'll be very happy, but I will fall out of my seat in shock if that happens. But it also doesn't need to happen for it to be successful. Laser says, thoughts on the Lilo and Stitch teaser and Sonic 3 trailer 2, Sonic looks peak. Yeah, the Sonic 3 trailer, they continue to win me over. I mean, it looks like more of the same, but just bigger scaled, and definitely the most action and adventure I would say that the franchise seems to be having. Kind of crazy to think that this Sonic franchise started with a road trip movie with Sonic and James Marsden. Even crazier to think that it started with that terrible design that the fans hated and tore apart on Twitter. But yeah, no, the Sonic 3 trailer, it looks good. It looks good. Like you guys know, I'm not the biggest Sonic fan. I don't know anything. I've never really even played the games. The lore escapes me. So I'm definitely like not super excited for Sonic 3 in terms of it being Sonic, but the trailers, they look good, and the excitement from other people is starting to get to me as well. The Lilo and Stitch teaser was cute. I mean, it really wasn't anything. It was like 30 seconds. It was really just to showcase that Stitch design in action, just to kind of show us, hey, Stitch is gonna look okay. You guys think Stitch is cute. You love Stitch for decades. He's been cute. He will continue to be cute. And they just wanted to show and demonstrate the live action Stitch. And I think that's all that 30-second teaser was for. And there's really not much else to go off of a 30-second teaser like that. But I will say that I enjoyed it. It felt like Stitch. It felt like the character I've loved for since I first saw that movie back in the early aughts when I was a very, very young child, and I've loved ever since. So I'm happy with it so far. We need a full-fledged trailer. I want to see what Gantu looks like. I want to see what Jumbo looks like. I want to see what Pleakley looks like. I want to see what they do with those aliens, because it could go wrong really fast. That could be a really freaky movie. But from what we've seen so far, I'm very satisfied. I'm hopeful. Is what I'll say. I'm hopeful. Collector Movie Man says, "Hey Zach, I have a quick question, and I will have a long answer. Apparently, I wanted to ask, what TV shows are you looking forward to in 2025? Off the top of my head, well, let's hear your list first. My TV show is that I'm looking forward to in 2025 are The Last of Us. I still have to watch season 1. Not gonna lie to you, never got around to finishing that. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, The White Lotus, I've heard of that, The White Lotus. Andor season 2. Andor season 2 is up on my list too, buddy. And Daredevil Born Again. Yep, I'm going through the Daredevil show on Netflix currently, so I'm definitely getting excited for Daredevil Born Again. Daredevil Born Again is up there for me. Andor's up there for me. I Severance is up there. Severance season 2. Super excited for Severance to come back. Really enjoy that show. What else comes out in 2025? Stranger Things season 5 must come out next year, right? Because I'm excited for Stranger Things season 5. So inject that into my veins right now. I'm also very curious about that Welcome to Derry show that they're doing on HBO Max, the It continuation, which will completely deviate for the very first time from the It book. This will be them taking Pennywise and making it its own thing in a TV series on HBO Max. Very, very, very curious to see what they're going to do with that, how they're going to pull it off. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Bill Skarsgård is returning to play Pennywise in this series, and I really like his portrayal of Pennywise, so I'm looking forward to that as well. We got a super sticker in here, just sending some support from Dark Room Movies 99 cents. Thank you so much, man, for that support. I really appreciate it, dude. And yeah, check out Dark Room Reviews, guys. Check him out. Check out his channel. Great guy. Joel, good to see you in here, man. Thank you so much for that support and helping out the channel, man. Where are we at from there? We've got the Laser saying, "Did you see that Joker 2 has been wiped from 900 theaters, and by the time of me writing this, its theatrical run is about over?" Let's be honest, its theatrical run ended after the first weekend. Let's just be real. And so far it's made 206 million worldwide. Brutal. Movies like Trolls 3, Wish, The Flash all made more. The story of Joker 2 is one of the biggest travesties in the comic book movie box office in the last decade, for sure. Since the comic book movie genre really took off in like 2010, 2012, when the Avengers came out and it just ran wild. This movie was a disaster. This movie was a disaster. And I'm not surprised that it's been wiped from 900 theaters, and they're definitely getting wiped out by more, because theaters, if they're gonna, they pick and choose what movies they're going to take into their theaters, because what they put into their theaters is what's going to determine the amount of money they make. That's why CinemaCon is a big presentation for movie theaters, where the studios showcase what they've got, so the studios will hopefully take their movies into their theaters. And they're only going to keep movies in there that are making money. And Joker stopped making money. I mean, weekend two, it dropped by 80%. I think it was over 80%. It dropped in its second weekend. The first film was $1 billion. Just think about that. The first film made $1 billion. This made 200. That's a dramatic drop. That is a catastrophe. And it cost like $200 million to make, so that thing didn't even break. Oh, man. They lost a lot of money on that movie, man. They lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of fans. They lost a lot of faith. Oh, man. And I didn't even hate Joker 2. I didn't like it all that much, but I definitely didn't think it was the dumpster fire that a lot of people thought, but that is brutal. That is really brutal. That's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. Nathan Dreaded Movies, what's going on, man? Says, hey, Zach, what have you seen for the first time recently? I saw Arcane Season 1. People keep telling me I need to watch that, but I don't know if it's my cup of tea. Gone in 60 Seconds, Shark Tale. You watched Shark Tale for the first time. What did you think of Shark Tale? Because that is a movie when I was growing up, I watched but didn't stick with. Like, I haven't seen Shark Tale in a very long time. And DreamWorks Wallace and Gromit. I watched Moana 2 last night. I watched Trap a couple days ago. I watched M. Night Shyamalan's Trap, which I missed in theaters, but Warner Brothers was, I don't think I have it sitting here or anything, but oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Warner Brothers was kind enough to send me a copy of the film Trap. So went and checked that out a couple days ago. And honestly, I think this is the M. Night Shyamalan movie I've enjoyed the most since Split. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not even saying it's like great, but I was intrigued and fascinated by the movie the entire runtime. Josh Hartnett, I thought, was fantastic in the role because one of the interesting things I thought they did with Trap was the dialogue that we usually complain about with M. Night Shyamalan. You know, the dialogue where it doesn't fully sound human. It doesn't fully sound like natural English speak that people use. Josh Hartnett, when he was speaking the M. Night dialogue, especially at the beginning of the film, I was cringing and I was like, oh man, this is going to be hard to watch. But they kind of, I don't know if M. Night was being like self-aware or if it just happened to work out this way. But Josh Hartnett being, and it's in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler. It's the whole setup of the movie is he's the serial killer trapped in this concert, and he has to put on a facade. He has to put on a face of a friendly family man, of a loving father. And so the dialogue being this kind of like unnaturally spoken human dialect, it worked for his character so much because the whole time I'm just like, this guy's putting on a facade. He's putting on a face. It was great. And I thought that even though there was a lot of suspension of disbelief, which is a criticism I heard a lot of going into the film from people, was there was so many plot holes and it didn't make any sense and they just couldn't get on board with it. That's true. But I also thought that every obstacle that M. Night put in front of this guy to prevent him from escaping, they found an interesting way, not always a believable way, but an interesting way for him to evade it and get out of it. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the film a lot. And I even like the second half, which some people say it falls apart in the second half. I actually really like the second half of the film. So yeah, that's the thing I've watched the most recently that's new for me, and I really enjoyed it. I thought M. Night did a fun job with it. We got another super chat in here from Ace Avenue sending in $5. Dude, thank you so much as always, my friend. Says, what are your thoughts on Brave New World getting more failed test screenings and undergoing more reshoots? Oh, Marvel. Oh, you get wins like Deadpool and Wolverine. You get wins like Agatha all along, and then this happens to you. I'll say this first and foremost. Test screening rumors and talk is, take it with a grain of salt. That's what I've been told and kind of learned throughout the years is test screenings. They're also test screenings. So they are designed to point out issues and fix the problems before the movie comes out. So in that way, it's kind of optimistic that it's like, hey, we're finding issues in the movie. We're going back and fixing them, all that kind of stuff. But it's getting to a point now where if these are true, if all of these test screenings end up being real and not rumors, I'm really, really starting to get worried about this movie. Because this movie already has such an uphill battle with the fans. Everything outside world aside, the character of Sam Wilson as Falcon, it's going to be hard, and I think harder than some people realize, to get the audience on board with him as Captain America. Simply because Chris Evans was so beloved as Captain America. My wife has told me, especially when she was younger, but still today, she's told me, she mostly watches Captain America because of Chris Evans. And she's not the only person who's told me that. A lot of people, a lot of girls, especially in high school, told me that as well. Captain America was their favorite. Why? Because of Chris Evans. Chris Evans is a big part of that Captain America character. And Falcon's a side character that you're trying to push into the lead character, not just push into the lead character, but take over a beloved character from someone who's so beloved as that character. Some people, it feels forceful, and now you've got this on top of it where you've already got this uphill battle of Anthony Mackie has so much pressure on him to deliver as Captain America, to win over the audience, some of the audience, to accept him as Captain America. And it's just sounding like a mess. And honestly, it's making me sad. It's making me sad because I root for Marvel. I root for Anthony Mackie. I love these characters. I love this studio. And I love the Captain America franchise. Captain America, First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War just kept getting better and better and better for me. Each installment was better than the last for me. Yes, Civil War is my favorite Captain America movie, even over Winter Soldier. But Winter Soldier is very, very close. This sounds like it's easily going to be the worst movie if everything that's happening is true. I really hope it's not a mess. I really hope it's not a mess because that'll just be the last thing that Anthony Mackie needs as Captain America, that Marvel needs right now coming off of Deadpool and Wolverine. But if these are true and they're not rumors and this is real, and I mean, the movie comes out in like less than 3 months, and they're going back and reshooting more. They have more issues to fix. They just reshot like 6 months of stuff at the beginning of the year. And now they're doing more. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out. But honestly, I'm getting discouraged. I'm starting to get discouraged, and it's making me sad. Making me sad. I hope it's good, man. I hope it's good. Let's see here. Where did we leave off from there? What have you seen recently? Oh, okay. I also going on with Nathan Jenner movies. I also watched The Prince of Egypt for the first time in a while, and much better than I remembered. Love that movie now. Oh, that movie's great. That movie is phenomenal. And the animation on that movie too, especially for like the 90s, I would say. Oh my gosh, it's breathtaking. It's a beautiful movie. Beautiful. And as a Christian who believes in the Bible and believes in Jesus Christ, the story of Exodus was told so well in that movie. I love it. Nathan Dunn Movies says, what is the best and worst DreamWorks movies to you? Mine is Puss in Boots 2 and Shark Tale 2 out of 10. Okay, so you didn't like Shark Tale. I guess that answers that. That's tricky. I don't know. Off the top of my head, what's the bad? I haven't really ever gone back to Robots. And I don't know if that's their worst. I've never watched it past the age of like 8, but I never gravitated towards it. So I'll put that in that slot for now, as Robots being the worst DreamWorks. The best DreamWorks movie to me, I don't know, man. Puss in Boots is really up there. I just think it's still too soon for me to put it over Shrek 2. And I do think Shrek 2 is still probably my number one DreamWorks movie up there. Nathan John Movie says, what are your top 3 films of the year right now? And is The Penguin better than all of them? It's better than a lot of them. It's better than a lot of them. If I had to do my top 3 right now, this could change. I'm going to go Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Dune Part 2, and Wicked. Yeah, I think Wicked's up there, honestly. The Penguin would be over Wicked. But I don't think I'd put Penguin over Dune Part 2, though. So it might be number 3. But, man, the Penguin, I've been trying to tell people in my life, they just won't listen to me. Watch The Penguin. The Penguin is so good. And then they ask me, why didn't you do a review on it? It's like, I don't have time to do a review on it. Just watch it. Just watch The Penguin. It's so good. My dad's like, I'm suffering through it. And I'm like, seriously, Dad? It's great. That's all subjective. He doesn't have to like it. Nathan John Movie says, I think Over the Hedge and Croods 2 are very underrated. I never saw Croods 2. I didn't really care much for the first Croods. Over the Hedge I loved as a kid. I remember I accidentally bought that on pay-per-view because I woke up early before my parents and I wanted to watch Over the Hedge and I saw that it was on TV and then I hit a bunch of buttons and I paid for it. My dad was not happy with me. But I haven't seen Over the Hedge in quite a few years, but I remember it like almost the back of my hand. So yeah, I like Over the Hedge, but never seen Croods 2. The Laser says, I saw you didn't like Moana 2. Wow, thanks for checking out the video, man. The trailers didn't get me super excited, but noticed from all the trailers that it copies a lot of the first Moana. So did you feel the same way? I don't know if I would say it copies a lot of the first Moana. The biggest criticism, and you can watch my review for this, my biggest criticism that kept me from really getting on board with this is nothing that I loved about the original Moana. Nothing is present in this film. It's very cookie cutter. It's very. There's also a little bit of I would say some bias going into the movie because I watch movie news, I read entertainment news like almost every day. I listen to podcasts breaking down movie news almost every day. So I'm very aware that this was a Disney Plus show, that when Bob Chapek was in charge of Disney, he was going to pump out on Disney Plus. Then Bob Iger came back in the middle of its production and said, "You're making a show? Nope, convert that into a movie." So maybe it's not going to be, and I know it's not going to be as evident to a lot of people. And I do think a majority of people are going to say they like it and that they're entertained. I do think I'm going to be in the minority with how much I dislike it, but feel, I could feel that this was just slapped together as a sequel. It felt disrespectful to me with how much care and love and passion went into Moana. And one thing I didn't bring up in my review that I came home and checked because I was like, I'm pretty sure I could feel this. And sure enough, it was like, yep, that's exactly what I was feeling. If you look at, and Wikipedia, it's not 100% reliable, but if you look at Wikipedia's for the first Moana, if you look at the first Moana on Wikipedia, the screenplay by Jared Bush, 2 directors, story by, there's a kind of bit in the story, but that's pretty normal. But it looks like a pretty put together group. It seems pretty clean. At least to me, that's how it looks. It looks pretty clean. Now when you go to how Moana 2 was put together, and let's just go here to Moana 2. When you look at Moana 2, at least when I look at Moana 2, there's a lot more cooks in the kitchen. 3 directors, 2 screenplays. Like it felt that way. Moana felt like it had a clear vision and passion behind it. This felt like it had no clear vision, no passion behind it. They just pumped it out because they didn't want to put it on Disney Plus because it could make a bunch of money in the theaters. And that's what they did. Is it a terrible movie? No, it's not a terrible movie. I do think a majority of the people who see it are going to say they were entertained and liked it. For me personally, it just depressed me. It just kind of depressed me because that first Moana is so good and they deserved such a better sequel than to just be slapped together from a Disney Plus show and then pumped out into theaters. It was just left a bad taste in my mouth. I really just disliked it. But you can catch my full review to hear more thoughts on that. Dakota Man Movies says Creature Commandos next week. Excited for the start of the DCU. I mean, honestly, I'm excited to see what James Gunn does with this animation because he said it himself. This is a new realm for him, an animated show, an animated series he's never really tackled before. So this is new. So in that regard, I'm interested to see what James Gunn does with an animated show. As far as the start of the DCU, that's Superman, or that's Blue Beetle, or that's Peacemaker Season 1, or that's the Suicide Squad, because that's where Peacemaker first made his introduction before the show. So the DCU's already started. The DCU's already started, guys. Have you heard James Gunn's comments? Peacemaker's canon. Peacemaker Season 2 is canon to the DCU. Commanders is canon to the DCU, and it's starting off. Blue Beetle is going to be in the DCU, so his movie is technically canon because that character is popping up. The DCU's already here. It's already started. No, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to checking it out. I think it'll be fun. Superman, I'm also looking forward to. Don't get me wrong, because that will be the official start of James Gunn's DCU. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little annoyed with some of James Gunn's comments about well, this is canon except for this part, but that way I can keep that in the DCU. So yeah, it's all canon as long as I choose it to be. Kind of rubs me the wrong way. I just want a clean break off. Just start with Superman and go from there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Future Commanders. Dakota Man Movies says we also get Skeleton Crew. Trailers all looked boring so far. I'll give it a shot. Look, I'll give it a shot. It's just because it's not aimed for me doesn't mean it can't be good. And if it's aimed for younger people, that's great. I really do hope that people who this is aimed for love it. And I hope I love it. I'm going to give it a shot. I will be honest. I'll give it a shot. But yeah, it's the trailers didn't do much for me. It looks cute enough. Honestly, I'd be more excited if I liked any of the live action Star Wars shows that's come out in the last. Well, Andor came out in 2022, so I guess I'll say the last year. If I liked any of the Star Wars shows that came out in the last year, I'd be more excited. But it's kind of like the Disney Plus Marvel shows were at one point. I haven't liked Boba Fett. I haven't liked Obi-Wan. Let me down so much. Ahsoka. Here's the thing: all these shows had their moments. I'm not going to say they didn't have their moments. I got so amped in Ahsoka when Anakin popped up. That was fantastic. I got so amped in Obi-Wan when Darth Vader held him over that fire, giving him a little taste of his medicine that he did to Anakin. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Loved the half mask at the end with Obi-Wan. There was brilliant ideas mixed in with the pretty underwhelming, overall not very well executed show. Same with Ahsoka. Same with Book of Boba Fett. Mandalorian season 3 let me down. I haven't really liked a Star Wars show in quite some time, except for Andor. So if I had liked more of their shows, I probably would have been anticipating this a bit more. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And by the time this is like the fourth time, I'm just sick of it. But I'll give it a shot. I like John Watts. I like what he did with Spider-Man. The kids look like they're having fun. They look cute. It looks like a cute adventure. So I will definitely give it a shot. I am rooting for it, but I can't get hyped for it. I just can't. Collect Movie Man says, "Hey Zach, I'll not be here for too long." Oh, you're probably already gone, man. I'm sorry. I'm sick right now, and tomorrow I have Thanksgiving. Oh, dude, well, definitely feel better. I hope you feel better, dude, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And if you are no longer here, man, thank you so much for joining, man, and contributing, because the show is made better because you were a part of it, friend, and I appreciate you, dude. Have a good night. Nathan John Movie says, "Not even lying. Wicked made it into my top 3 of the year." Well, you heard what I said. I think it made my top 3 too. It was a fantastic film. It was just awesome. Daily Reacts Gaming says, "What's going on, Daily Reacts Gaming, by the way? Thanks for joining, buddy." He says, "Hey, how you doing today? What 5 shows will you share with your kids?" Wow. 5 shows I have to share with my of all. Friends is my all-time favorite, so when they get old enough, that'll definitely be shared. Drake and Josh is probably going to be shared because, yeah, it's from my childhood, but I still love that show, and it's a big part of my childhood, so I got to show them that. Man, it's got to be like The Office will probably be shown. My wife loves The Office. I'm not like the biggest Office fan, but I definitely enjoy it, so the kids are definitely going to watch The Office. I'll be showing them Batman stuff, so the Penguin's going to be on there. All the Marvel shows will be on there. Yeah, no, I'd have to give that some more thought, but those are just a couple off the top of my head. The laser says that it was TV4. Oh, Stranger Things was TV14, huh? So TVMA. It just turned TVMA last night. Oh, Dakota Man Movies is saying they changed the rating. I think the TVMA rating shows how much darker the final season is going to be. Oh, okay, so it is going to be. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be darker. It's going to be more violent. That's interesting. I would have thought that show was already TVMA. Dakota Man Movie says, "Have you seen The Penguin? Best show of the year." Yes, I love The Penguin. Best show I've watched all year, 100%. I almost don't have any gripes with it whatsoever. I thought from top to bottom, fantastic show, and I cannot wait for the Batman Part 2 now. Dakota Man Movie says, "Elio looks like it'll be on the level of Luca." Full transparency, I never watched Luca. It came out when it was streaming on Disney Plus, and I never saw Luca. And there was one other not DreamWorks, Pixar. I saw Soul, I saw Turning Red. Was it just Luca? I thought there was another Pixar movie that came out on that Disney Plus that I didn't see. Maybe I'm thinking of Wish. But yeah, full transparency, I never saw Luca. Nathan John Movies says, me and my friends are already planning on watching the Dogman movie and Minecraft next year. Well, you might be some of the only people who are planning on seeing Minecraft next year. Yep, Minecraft comes out in April. I'm not gonna be, begging my wife to let me off for a night from hanging out with her and the kid to go see Minecraft. So I'll probably skip out on Minecraft, to be honest with you. Dogman, it was nostalgic for me because I do remember reading that spinoff from Captain Underpants as a kid, but I don't know if I'm gonna go see that one either. But it looks like they captured the essence of that graphic novel, much like that Captain Underpants movie, by the way. As someone who grew up reading the Captain Underpants books, they captured the essence of those books so well. The potty humor and the juvenileness of all of it, it was perfect. I really enjoyed that movie. The Laser says, I'm having a big breakfast with my whole family tomorrow. Can't wait. Oh, that sounds awesome, dude. I hope you have a great time. Dakota Man Movie says Moana has an 89% from audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. Sadly, I do think it'll make money. It's gonna make money. I don't doubt that. It's definitely gonna make money. Like I said, I do think the majority of people are gonna come out saying I had a good time with that. But for me, I could just see it. I was like, this is slapped together. This is not the best they could have done. I'm disappointed with Disney. I'm disappointed, and I can understand why they might have done it, because if you had scrapped the whole thing entirely, and made them go back to the drawing board, which, by the way, I think would have been the right move to do. I think you should have said, you know what, you guys are making this for TV. The plot, at least in the movie, felt like they were making it for TV. Scrap it all. Call up Aaliyah Carvalho. Call up The Rock. Tell them we're pitching them a new idea. Get them in the booths. Record. And there was nothing wrong with the voice acting, by the way. Aaliyah Carvalho and The Rock, they stepped right back into the roles. They were great. They sounded great when they sang, all that kind of stuff. The songs were okay, but they should have just scrapped it. They should have started fresh, and they should have said, we are making Moana from scratch for the theatrical experience. We're going back to the drawing board, and we're making this the best Moana sequel that it can be. Not just, well, that's what you guys got so far. Make it a movie. It just deserves so much better. And it has surface level entertainment. It's got, like, the humor, it's got the colorful visuals, it's got music, like it's everything there that will please audiences. And I don't blame anybody for liking it. I can see why people would like it. But for me, I was just really turned off by it. But it will make money. I don't think it's going to make $1 billion anymore. I don't think it's going to grab audiences and people are going to resonate with it as much as they did as the first film. But where that first film made like $600 million, I think, around there, this could make 7 or 8. I don't think it'll make 7 or 8, but I think it'll match that 600, maybe get to 700, but it's going to make money. It is. So Disney got what they wanted in the end. Nathan Red Movie says, next year, maybe you can do a reaction for Thanksgiving horror movie. I've heard about that one. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I don't want to commit to anything next year because next year is just going to be crazy different for me. So I don't want to commit to anything, but it's not out of the question. I'll say that, because I haven't seen it. So Collective Movie Man also says, hey, Zach, what movies are you looking forward to in December? Yeah, you got Sonic in there. Mufasa, I'm looking forward to. A Complete Unknown actually looks kind of interesting. That comes out in December, I believe. What else is in there? Craven. I can't say I'm looking forward to Craven, but I'll probably go out to see Craven. What else is coming out in December? Nosferatu is probably not going to be for me. Probably not going to go see that. And it comes out on Christmas Day, so that's not how I'm going to spend my Christmas. Yeah, there's a couple off the top of my head. And then there'll probably be some surprises in there that I'm not even thinking of. Dakota Man Movies says 2024 for movies is weird. The good movies were amazing, but the bad movies were bad. I agree. And 49 movies I watched this year were bad. Holy crap, man. That sucks. Yeah, like I don't watch as much movies as a lot of people do. Like our buddy Kenny Sparks, he just made it his goal of hitting 100 films for the year. I've seen 51, I think. And I don't even think, I'm not going to go on my Letterboxd right now, but I've seen 51. And I think I haven't even liked half of them. I've probably liked 40% of them. Yeah, I don't know. This year it just didn't click with me, unfortunately. Collective Movie Man says, this is what I'm looking forward to in December to see in theaters. New Nosferatu, as mentioned. A Complete Unknown, yep. Mufasa the Lion King. Yep, I'll probably see a Complete Unknown if I can get away and see that. Mufasa the Lion King for sure. And I'll see Sonic 3 for sure. Nathan Red Movies says, keep, watch, or burn. These 3 2024 animated movies. Inside Out 2, Wild Robot, and Transformers 1. If you can't just rank them. Actually, this is pretty easy for me. I'll keep Inside Out 2. I'll watch Wild Robot again, and I'll burn Transformers 1. I like all of these movies, by the way. I love Inside Out 2. I really enjoyed the Wild Robot, and I really liked Transformers 1. But Transformers 1 was the weakest one of the 3, in my opinion, and I'm not the biggest Transformers guy, so I can live without it. So that is actually a pretty easy one for me, dude. Thanks for sending that in, though. Where did we go? Here we go. We got Dark Room Reviews. What's going on, dude? Thanks for joining, as mentioned before. Collective Movement says Nosferatu is a remake of a 1922. It's a vampire movie. Yep, I have not seen the original 1922. I've always wanted to, never got around to it, but I might watch that before I ever see the next one. Nathan Movies says they're making Wild Robot 2, and I don't think I want them to. Well, I mean, when you get that much critical buzz, audiences that did see it are running with it, and I think it did pretty decent at the box office. It wasn't a smash hit or anything, but it definitely did okay. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, the way that the Wild Robot 2 ended, I would agree with you, where I'm kind of like, do they need to do another one? Do I want them to do another one? I almost fell out of my chair. Do I want them to do another one? I don't know. But there's been animated movies before where I've thought, it's perfect, leave it, don't do another one. Then they did another one, and the sequel ended up being great, and they found a way to make it work. So maybe Wild Robot will be the same way. Collective Movie Man says Nosferatu is directed by Robert Eggers and written by Robert Eggers. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Robert Eggers fan. Not gonna lie, his stuff doesn't resonate with me. I've never seen The Northman, and people have told me in my life that we know you don't like Robert Eggers, but if you're gonna like a Robert Eggers movie, The Northman is the one to watch. I just never got around to watching it. But The Witch, I didn't really connect with The Witch. I didn't like it all that much. The Lighthouse didn't work for me. Didn't really care for that one. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not that excited for Nosferatu, to be honest. Laser says Moana 2 is looking to have a 135 million domestic opening weekend. Yeah, the movie's going to kill it. 225 million globally. Will Moana 2 get to 1 billion, or will word of mouth hurt it? Yeah, that's the question, right? Is it going to... See, if you're asking me, I don't think that it has what it would take to get to 1 billion. I think even the kids in my auditorium that I saw last night, it's not that they weren't into the movie, but in the third act of the movie, or getting close to the third act, there was a lot of people wandering around with their kids. There was a lot of people taking their kids out into the hallway. And one of the best parts of my screening, and I have to be careful because I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's a moment in the movie where it's clearly not over. Something tragic is happening, and they want you to think something has happened that's bad. And I was sitting next to this mom and her like little 5-year-old daughter. She was adorable. And this thing happens. And the daughter turns to her mom and just goes, "Is that it? Can we go home now?" And I laughed a little bit next to her beside my chair, because it was just like, that is not the reaction that this movie wants you to have, little girl. Like, that's not what they want you to be thinking right now, is to go home. She didn't seem like she could care less. So based off my kids in my auditorium, it didn't keep their attention all the way through. And I think that's going to be a testament a little bit to, because even people who have liked this movie that I've seen online tweeting about it and watching some reviews, even people who like it still admit that it's a pretty big step down from the first film. Like, even if you like enjoyed it, the visuals, the music, the characters, if you still liked all that stuff still, which I did, it still isn't the heights of the first Moana. And I do think that's going to hurt repeat viewings, and you need family repeat viewings to get to $1 billion. Plus, a couple weeks from now, Sonic 3, Mufasa Lion King comes out. Moana has a pretty good runway for these next couple weeks. $1 billion is tougher now than it was before, though, I think. I won't fall out of my seat if it makes $1 billion, but I'm not expecting it to. Let's put it that way. Dark Room Movie says, I missed the animation from Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, the hand-drawn mixed with 3D, a little bit of animation. Yeah, those movies look great. Collective Movie Man says, I've never seen the animated Lilo and Stitch movie. Oh, wow. But I'm very interested in a live-action Lilo in the live action, and Lilo looks adorable. Yeah, I have no idea who the actress is that they cast. I think she's a complete unknown and brand new, but she looks like she's gonna be a good Lilo. If she can bring the attitude and stuff that Lilo has in the animation, she looks really, really cute for the role. I would recommend checking out the first Lilo and Stitch before you go in to see this one. It's kind of an it's weird. It's beloved, but it's also kind of an underrated Disney animated film. So definitely check it out. Next man movie says most anticipated movie of next year. There's a lot I'm excited for, but number one is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Yeah, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, man. That's definitely there. Wicked Part 2's jumped up quite a bit, not gonna lie to you. Which I would not have said at the beginning of this year, but hey, that's where we're at. It's probably Superman, honestly. If I could walk into any theater for the next 2025 movie right now and I had everything open to me that I could go into any one, I'd probably go in that Superman one. I don't know. I'll have to look at everything that's coming out next year before I make that a definitive answer. But I'm very, very, very anxious to see what James Gunn has done and what the DCU is going to look like. Darkroom Movie says, Zach, watch Yellow Jackets season 1. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. What's it on? What's the streaming service on? It might be the same in Canada. I don't know. The Laser says, can you give me box office predictions? Oh goodness, for each Disney movie of next year, if you can. You guys take my box office predictions with a grain of salt, man. I usually suck at these. They're fun to guess. I did pretty good guessing. It wasn't on the show. It was with a friend, but I guessed Wicked based on the buzz and everything was going to make like between 110 and 120 million opening weekend, and ended up making like 114. So I did pretty good on that one. So sometimes I'm a little bit closer to the target than far away, but most of the times I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, and this could be one of those times. Anyways, let's see what you got. Captain America, Brave New World. Okay. That's if it's gonna be the mess that I think it could be, and even with the uphill battle, I think at best, if it's good, 600 million. If it ends up falling flat, like some of these kind of reports are making it sound like it will, 500 million, I'll say. Snow White, that's an interesting one. I saw the trailer for that before Moana as well, which was really funny because the guy sitting next to me was like, is this for that Wicked movie? And his wife was like, no, that's already in theaters. I laughed at that. I thought that was hilarious. Snow White, I don't know, 800 million maybe at the end of it if it's good. But you know, these Disney live action remakes, $1 billion is not out of the question for any of them if they're good. So I'll say between 800 million to 1 billion if it's good. Thunderbolts is an interesting one. I'll say if it's good, if they can capture the energy of that group like they seem to in the trailers, I think it could win some people over. I could see Thunderbolts getting that maybe 600, 700 million. Lilo and Stitch is a good one. Pretty beloved. I'll stick in the 600 million range for Lilo and Stitch as well. Elio, I don't know, man. It's a new IP. It's not familiar. I'll be 450 million to 500 million if it's good. I'll go there. Tron, I don't know Tron. I don't know if Tron is that low. I don't know. Maybe 500 million, and that's just a guess. Freakier Friday is going to do like 250, 300 million, maybe 400 million, but I would stick in like the 350 million range if it's good. And Zootopia 2 is going to be $1 billion. I think Zootopia 2 is going to be $1 billion, especially if it's good and they capture what we want. Those are just all guesses off the top of my head, so they're probably all going to be wrong. The Laser says, what do you want most for what do you want the most of what do you want the most of Christmas? Are you saying what do I want the most for Christmas or like most out of Christmas? I think you mean for Christmas. Those new Disney Plus Marvel shows, man. Loki season 2 and all that kind of stuff. I want to get those, man. I want those steelbooks. And a good time with my family. Collector Movie Man says, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight is another TV show that takes place in the Game of Thrones universe. Okay. I'm not in the Game of Thrones universe at all. So I don't know any of those. Nathan J. Movie says, did you and your wife cry watching Wild Robot? I didn't, but I showed it to my friends, and half of them were crying at some point. My wife didn't see it with me. I saw it by myself, and if you watch my first thoughts, that'll answer your question. But yes, I did. I told myself I wasn't going to. I fought it, but it did. Collective Movie Man says, I just watched this video recently. This person who's obsessed with Game of Thrones, he found out that there were like 8 different shows in development and 2 movies. Oh, crap. I mean, it's a lucrative world, so I'm not surprised. Laser says, do you want Moana 3? Okay, here's the thing. There is a mid-credit scene in Moana 2 that is clearly setting up a Moana 3. And the way that they set this up, it kind of felt like, and it'll make sense. It'll make more sense when you see it for yourself in the mid-credit scene. It felt like, and this is going to sound weird, they were trying to make Moana into an MCU movie. And I don't like that. That feels like that's missing the entire point and essence of the first Moana. This one already lost that for me, but that seems like it's a deeper direction. So, based on the mid-credit scene of Moana 2, if that's the direction they want to go for Moana 3, no, not into it. But if they take Moana 3 seriously and they treat it with care and they start at the baseline of just coming up with a great story for the cinematic experience, then yeah, I'm all for Moana 3. I don't think the franchise is dead. Like, I don't think this absolutely killed Moana for me. Like, not at all. It was very, very disappointing for me, but there is still, this is such a vast world to explore. So you could definitely do more with Moana, and you can definitely do a Moana 3. I think they should do a Moana 3, but treat it with respect and care this time around. Collective Movement says, right now I'm reading Jurassic Park. I'm almost done with that. It's totally different from the movie. I've heard that. I've never read it myself, but I've heard that. Dakota Man Movie says, on the plus side, Marvel is very confident in Thunderbolts. Dude, I love that. I loved that trailer. That trailer was so good. That teaser, that like 3.5-minute teaser, I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm really looking forward to Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts, I know Fantastic Four is coming out. I know Captain America Brave New World. Thunderbolts is my most anticipated Marvel project for next year, by far. Laser says, I have some physical collections. I got Blu-rays for Toy Story 4, Wizard of Oz, and Diamond version of Lion King 1994. Nice, man. Laser says, how much can Captain America 4 make? I think it can only make 480 million worldwide and will be another flop for Marvel. The way it's looking, it could be another flop for Marvel. If it's very mediocre, if it's not that good, if it's the least, which it probably will be, the least favored of the Captain America trilogy, or now quadrilogy, or whatever you call it, yeah, it probably won't do all that much, but beyond 480. If it's good and word of mouth is good and people come out and join it, I think it could get into 500, 550 range. I really do, but I'm nervous for it, man. Collect Movie Man says, did you see the article that just came out about Anthony Mackie as Captain America will not be having the super soldier serum because they want to make it different from Chris Evans' Captain America? I think that was already known. He never got the super soldier serum in Falcon Winter Soldier, and I never assumed he was going to get it in Captain America 4. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But I am curious to see what a non-super soldier Captain America is like. It looks like they're doing well with it in the trailers, but a whole movie, especially going up against Red Hulk, wonder what that's going to be like. Laser says, did you know that Disney Strange World made more than the live-action Mulan movie from 2020? Well, Mulan was day and date on Disney Plus, so I'm not surprised to hear that. And it's COVID times, so you have to give everything with an asterisk of COVID times. Mulan made 69 million worldwide, while Strange World made 72 million. I mean, yeah, but there's a big asterisk next to that. You got to give asterisks to all of the things that came out in COVID times. Laser says, thoughts on Ice Age 6? Honestly, it feels disrespectful to Blue Sky. Don't really care. I honestly, it could be good. I'm not going to doubt it, but I fell off of Ice Age, the 5th one. Well, the 4th one was okay, but was Collision Course the 5th one? Or was that the 4th one? No, Collision Course was the 5th one. Ice Age isn't really my thing. I like the first one well enough. I like the second one. I even like Dawn of the Dinosaurs, and the 4th one's okay. I'm not gonna say I'm super anticipating an Ice Age 6, though. Not gonna lie. Dark Rear Movie says Ice Age 6 should go straight to streaming, in my opinion. I mean, It'll be interesting to see what it does at the box office. I don't even know how much money is left in the Ice Age franchise. Do people still love this franchise? Do they still like want to go out to the theater to see it? I don't even know. Nathan Dread Movie says, right there with you, man. The Penguin is better than my favorite movie of the year. It's so good. It's so good. So good. And the ending, dude. You know what I'm talking about. I was shocked. I choked up for sure. The Laser says, hot take, Dune 2 will not be in my top 10 movies of 2024. It is such an amazing movie, but it's not a movie I would rewatch. Not bad, but still an amazing movie. That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair. The Laser says, it's crazy that Moana 2 was announced only 9 months ago. Yeah, because they slapped something together and threw it in theaters. Disney Animation hasn't had a great movie since Encanto, but Zootopia 2 is going to be amazing. Yeah, I hope so. I hope it is, man. But yeah, that's another thing too, right? Is they literally announced the movie 9 months ago. They literally, like, that's pretty unheard of in some ways. They announced it at the beginning of this year, and they got it out by the end of this year. That's fast. That's a fast turnaround. Too fast in some ways. And I think for me, it showed. Michael 11591, what's going on, dude? Happy early Thanksgiving to you as well, my friend. It was fun jumping on Luke's stream with you last night, and I'm sorry for the traumatization. The Collective Movie Man, if you want to find out what I'm talking about, go watch Luke Ponto's Hangout stream he did last night. I think an hour and 25 minutes in, I make an appearance. So you can catch up on that. Collective Movie Man says, here's everything that I've watched this month. Oh, wow. You've been doing some work, man. Memory, The Bike Rider. The Bike Riders was underrated this year, man. I loved that movie. Bike Riders was great. Bringing Out the Dead, A Cat's Life, Twisters, also very good. Sleepy Hollow, Deadpool and Wolverine, awesome. And Jungle Book, the live action. Nice, man. I haven't seen a majority of those. I've seen Bike Riders, Twisters, and Deadpool and Wolverine, and the Jungle Book live action. So sounds like you're having yourself a good month, dude. That's awesome. The Laser says, has Disney Plus hurt Disney? It's a good question. I do think that it has weakened franchises and has also, yeah, it's hard because I have enjoyed having Disney Plus. There's a lot on Disney Plus I have enjoyed, and I'm glad it was made. Ultimately, though, I will say, yeah, I think more so the question is what they did, what Bob Chapek particular, because Bob Iger put Disney Plus into motion. That was like his baby before he left the company, before Bob Chapek was going to come. But the way that Bob Chapek used Disney Plus was not the intention of how Disney Plus was supposed to be made. Because Disney Plus was just supposed to hold the Disney library. It was supposed to be the home for everything Disney media. And, you know, everything that comes out from now on is going to live on Disney Plus. And they were just going, that was Bob Iger's vision for Disney Plus. And Bob Chapek came in there as CEO and went, we have Disney Plus. Let's put all of our franchises on Disney. Let's make everything for Disney Plus. Marvel, give me like 10 shows. I want them this year. Disney Animation, I want a Moana series. You better get cracking on that. I want this. I want that. And put it on Disney Plus. Pixar, Disney Plus. Say goodbye to theaters. You're going to Disney Plus. That was never the intention of Disney Plus. That's not what Bob Iger wanted Disney Plus for. And the way that Bob Chapek used Disney Plus to just plop and overwork these divisions in Disney and get their product just spat out there was wrong. And that's what hurt Disney, and that's what hurt their brand, and that's what hurt the franchise, and that's what Bob Iger is trying to course correct and fix. And that's why he said, hey, don't make that Moana show, make that Moana movie. Should have just started from scratch, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, no, Disney Plus has given me some great stuff, but it has also hurt the Disney brand, the way that Bob Chapek decided to go about using it. Darkroom Reviews says, happy Turkey Day to you and your family. Oh, you too, man. Have a great, it's not my Turkey Day. My Turkey Day was over a month ago, but have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving, man. I hope it's a wonderful, wonderful day. Wonderful week. Wonderful weekend. The Laser says, Skeleton Crew looks like a Disneyland commercial. I know, loved Acolyte and wasn't Oh, Skeleton Crew looks like a Disneyland commercial. I know you loved Acolyte and wasn't divisive at all, so it must be a masterpiece. I totally forgot about Acolyte. I hated Acolyte. Acolyte might be the worst show I watched all year. Acolyte might be the worst thing I watched all year. I don't want to get too deep into it because I'll go down that rabbit hole, and we all know how I can do that. But I forgot all about Acolyte. That left my brain. That was probably the worst thing I watched all year. The Laser says, "Did you see that Star Wars movies are having a hard time?" Oh, yes, they are, my friend. Oh, I saw they had a hard time since 2019. 2017, if you want to go back that far. Did you see that Star Wars movies are having such a hard time because the use of Rey, but the TV side is going a lot better, which is probably why Mandalorian and Grogu is happening. Going a lot better depends on what you mean by that. If you mean that they're actually getting product out, then yeah, they're announcing things, it's going into production, it gets shot, it gets edited, it gets put into the server, and it appears on Disney Plus. They are doing that well. If you're talking about the quality, no. They are not doing that well. As for mentioned, the Acolyte. If you're talking about the movie side, they're doing terrible. I mean, what have they have announced? How many movies in the past 5 years that was supposed to go into production or were supposed to get like a year ago or 2 years ago, and then directors leave and screenwriters leave and they cancel the project and then they bring in a new project, but then that gets canceled. The fact that Mandalorian and Grogu actually went into production, got shot, and is actually going to be a movie is a miracle out of Lucasfilm's movie division. The Star Wars, I think Star Wars is in a almost irreparable place. I've kind of given up on Star Wars. In my opinion, Star Wars is dead. Star Wars is dead, and people are just wearing the skin suit and walking around pretending they're Star Wars in some ways. And what I mean by that is the magic, the eventness, what George Lucas did with Star Wars, what Star Wars was in pulp culture, episode 1 through episode 6. That's never gonna be recovered. There's too much toxicity in the fandom. There's too much divisiveness. Everyone wants a different thing. Everyone wants this, but then other people want this, and no one can decide what they want from Star Wars. People say it doesn't feel like Star Wars, but they can't even explain to you what they mean by what doesn't feel like Star Wars because every human person on the planet has a different idea of what Star Wars is at this point. That it's irreparable, or at least they're gonna have a lot of work to do to repair it. And the people that they have in place right now at Lucasfilm are not the people who should be there to repair it. If you want any hope of repairing Star Wars at this point, Kathleen Kennedy and all of her minions and everyone there, they need to go. And I don't hate Kathleen Kennedy. I'm not blaming everything on Kathleen Kennedy. And she's a great producer. I mean, Steven Spielberg has worked with her many, many times, and she has given us a bunch of movies. A number of our favorite movies of all time are producer Kathleen Kennedy's contribution. So I'll always be thankful to Kathleen Kennedy and give her props for all that she's done in movie history. But when it comes to Star Wars and how she's handling Star Wars and how she's handled Star Wars for the past 5 years, nothing significant with Star Wars is going to happen until she's gone. And even once she's gone, there is so much work that has to be done to repair this brand, this franchise. And I honestly don't even know if that's going to happen in my lifetime. That's probably a little bit dramatic. It'll probably happen in my lifetime, but I mean, we're talking 10 years maybe they start to get to a place where they've done some repair. But yeah, it's not good over there. It's not good over there. Nathan Movie says rewatching Airplane while on this stream. I love Airplane, dude. Fantastic choice, and very happy to be a part of the multitasking as always, my friend. So thank you very much for including me in that watch along. I love Airplane, dude. Dark Room Movies has never seen Airplane. You gotta watch that, dude. It's I don't know. Maybe it won't hold up. I don't know. Oh, that's so funny. As if I lived through Airplane. I saw Airplane like 5-7 7 years ago for the first time. So I'm not the one to say maybe it won't hold up, but it definitely is of a time of spoof movies, but I think it's great. I love Airplane. I laugh so hard at that movie. Collect movements. Oh, this is the rest of what you watched more this month. Oh my goodness. You watched Good Will Hunting, fantastic movie, Moulin Rouge, Heretic. Never got around to seeing that. We Are Soldiers, The Front Runner, The Sun, Wonka. Wonka was great. Captain America 2, Captain America 3, awesome. 16. The The Impossible, Anora and Gladiator and Wicked and Gladiator 2, North by Northwest, fantastic. Alfred Hitchcock there. I think you can see it. Oh, boop. I got my Alfred Hitchcock collection back there. It's got North by Northwest on it, and that's everything I've watched for November, dude. Fantastic, 20 movies, dude. That's impressive. You got me beat. I've watched one. The Laser says, "How much can Minecraft make?" I hear people saying it'll be $1 billion movie, which is idiotic. But how much can it make? I don't know, dude. I still am not convinced that movie's real. I think that trailer is a prank on all of us. I think the movie's actually coming out on April 1st, and it'll just be Jack Black laughing at us. I don't know, dude. I don't even. A generous 300 million, maybe, but it could surpass expectations. Maybe it does do 600, 700 million. I don't know. But if you ask me to just pull a number out of my butt, there you go. That was pretty gross, but whatever. 300 million. That's what I'm giving you. The Laser says, something I also noticed about Moana 2 was a lot of the new designs I saw in the trailers. The monsters in the storm look like TV designs. Yeah, there's a lot of sea monsters. There's a lot more sea creatures. And it almost didn't feel like the same. Like in the first Moana, there is that realm where Moana and Maui, they jump down that like big rock tower and they go into, where the shiny crab is. Like that was kind of like the realm of the monsters. So there was monsters and sea monster creatures in the first Moana, but it felt different the way that they were used in Moana 2. It almost didn't feel like the same world in some ways, or at least it didn't feel like the same waters that Moana journeyed in the first film. So yeah, that might just be a little bit of a nitpick. I don't know, but because the movie didn't work for me so much, I'm picking at everything, and yeah, it didn't feel cohesive with the first film to me. Dakota Man Movie says, I would love to see a reaction to Terrifier 3. Okay. Yeah, but I know how much you don't like that much gore. I will tell you right now, a Terrifier 3 reaction is never happening. Never happening. I watched, because I was curious and I knew that they were going to block things for me. I watched the Real Rejects reaction that Roxy Stryer and Greg Alba did to Terrifier 3. I love the Real Rejects. And even though they blurred images, they still described, and you can still kind of see through the blurs what's happening. And I still got sick to my stomach by some of the stuff that was in there. I didn't even watch the full reaction. I had to turn the reaction off at a certain point, and I skipped through it a little bit just to see their reactions to certain things. I will never, you can quote me on this, never react to Terrifier 3. I don't even think I'll ever watch Terrifier 3. I don't think I'll ever watch Terrifier 2. I saw the first one, but I don't think I'll ever watch Terrifier 2 or Terrifier 3. That type of intense torture entertainment, it's not me. It's not my thing. It's not what I enjoy. And from what I saw just in the blurry images of Real Rejects, Terrifier 3 is a big nope for me. But I am very honored, and I appreciate that you would have liked to have seen a reaction at all from me about Terrifier 3. So thank you, man. Daily Rex Gaming says, I better go. I got 2 videos for the film for December 2nd week. I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving. Well, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving yourself, man. Good luck with those shoots. And thank you so much for being here, my friend. The show was made better because you were a part of it, dude, and I appreciate you. You have a good night. All right. Let's see here. Wow, we still got a bunch more questions. So thank you guys so much for being here, contributing, sending in all the love and support. Laser, how big will Lord of the Rings War of Roham do? You just want all my box office predictions tonight. I don't know. I'm not particularly excited for that. It's Peter Jackson produced, but it's not really back to his Middle Earth. It's not live action. It's coming out in a pretty competition based month. You got Mufasa, Sonic. 400 million. I'll just throw that out there. 400 million. Collective Movement says, I'm almost at 200 movies this year between new and old movies. That's impressive, dude. That's awesome. Congrats. I don't think I've ever done that. Malcolm, aka Mr. Awesome. What's going on, dude? Great to see you in here, my friend. He says, hey, Zach, from a likely source, it's being rumored the next month we might be getting a little teaser to the sequel to Avatar 3. Interesting. A full year away from the movie. Maybe we could get a teaser. I don't know if I want a teaser that early, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got one. The Laser says Wild Robots made 320 million worldwide on a budget of 85 and made way more than Joker 2. That it did, man. Yeah, it's doing. I'm not surprised to get a sequel. It's doing pretty well. Darkroom Reviews says funny. The Northman is my least favorite from Eggers. Oh, interesting. You're the first person I've heard say it's your least favorite. Malcolm, Mr. Awesome says, Zach, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. From a likely source, we might be getting a little teaser for. We already answered that one. The View with Drew. What's going on, Drew? Thanks for being here, buddy. He says, what movies are you looking forward to the most in December? We kind of already answered that. Sonic, Mufasa, everyone. All the ones that everyone's looking forward to. Collective Movie Man says, oh, wait, Lilo is the girl I was talking about, the blue alien. Oh, you were talking about the blue alien. You're talking about Stitch. I get what you mean, man. I get what you mean. The Laser says, do you think it was Disney's fault that 2D animation films are no more? Disney's last 2D movie was Winnie the Pooh, which they released the same day as Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2 back in 2011. No, it's not Disney's fault. That's Pixar's fault. That's Pixar's fault. I mean, people tend to forget that when Toy Story was made, actually, you know what? I might have this wrong, but I'm pretty sure I have to look this up, but this my memory, and this could be wrong, but my memory is that Pixar, when they made Toy Story, it was before they were acquired by Disney. So Toy Story changed the game. Toy Story, the 3D animation that they did with Toy Story, that changed the game. That's what kind of took out 2D animators. It wasn't just Disney. I'm pretty sure it was before Disney bought Pixar, so Pixar kind of did that on their own. But no, Disney's not at fault why you don't do 2D animated films anymore. Toy Story came out, it changed the game, and 2D animations, they just kind of fell to the wayside. People didn't support them as much anymore, I guess. I still like 2D animation films. I'd like to get more. I think the last one Disney did, was that The Princess and the Frog, the last one they did? That one actually wasn't too bad. Yeah, I wish we got more of those, honestly. Have you seen that with T? Says, hey, Zach, what's going on, T? Beloved channel member. Thanks for being here, buddy. Says, Jay Pylon, another beloved channel member, says, it was packed at Moana 2 IMAX today. Not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. People, well, that's the thing. It's opening weekend, right? People are excited. The biggest thing is the repeat viewings. Will it have strong repeat viewings? Will it have legs? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, my theater at a 4:00 showing on a Tuesday was like 80% full. So people are going out for that movie, and I don't doubt that they will. The Laser says, I think Elio can make 600 million if it's good. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Collect Movement says, where's Avatar 3, Laser? You didn't mention that one. Where's Avatar 3? Oh, you must be responding to something Laser says. Collect Movement says, Avatar 3 will get close to 1 billion. Never bet against James Cameron. Get close, dude. It's going to surpass 1 billion. You're talking about Avatar and Avatar The Way of Water are like the highest grossing movies of all time. And yeah, it's not gonna get close to 1 billion. It's gonna go over 1 billion. It could still hit 2 billion. The only thing that I think would hold it back from hitting 1 billion or 2 billion is from 2009 to 2022, the gap between Avatar and Way of Water was much bigger. And so the curiosity of how has the technology advanced since 2009 was there, to the point that people really wanted that theatrical experience in Avatar Way of Water. So people went out in droves to go see Avatar The Way of Water. the gap here is much smaller. 2022 to 2025, that's a much smaller gap. So the curiosity of how has the technology advanced may not be there as much. And people who still didn't like Avatar Way of Water, uh, maybe thought it was long and boring and wasn't into it. And there was a lot of people who felt that way. That might hold Avatar 3 back. But honestly, at this point right now, I'm not betting against it making over $1 billion, maybe even $2 billion. Collect Movie Man says, one last question, Zach. Do you have Black Friday shopping in Canada? Yeah, we do. It's it's on right now, actually. It's just not as big in the States as it is in Canada. Or at least not in my town, in my city of Canada. I shouldn't speak for all of Canada, but in my city in British Columbia, it's not as big as the States. But our big day is Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. Boxing Day, everything's half off. Boxing Day is the big day for us. Collective Movement says, one last thing to say on my top 5 movies of 2025. These are my top 5 movies of 2025. Avatar 3, Superman, Wicked Part 2, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, and Thunderbolts. That's a great list, man. I got a lot of anticipation for all those as well. The Laser says, you said Moana 2 felt slapped on. I don't think Dwayne Johnson was cast in Moana 2 till March of this year, and they finished voiceovers just 70 days before release. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Because Aaliyah Cravalho and The Rock were not going to be voicing the animated TV show on Disney Plus, rightfully so. I think The Rock had bigger and better things to do. I don't know about Aaliyah Cravalho. I don't know what her career is doing right now, but they weren't set to return. I don't think she was set to return. I know The Rock for sure was not set to return when it was a TV show. So yeah, like I said, they quickly just, hey, patch it together, get it out to theaters, call The Rock, call Aaliyah Cravalho. You can kind of feel it a little bit in the voice acting, I would say. They don't have as much meaty scenes to work with as the first one. There's no big real. There's a little emotional moment between Maui and Moana, but there's nothing like in the first film. There's nothing really that emotionally intense that the characters are dealing with this time around. So The Rock can just come in there, be The Rock, talk for a couple days, get a paycheck. Aaliyah Cravalho. It was cool. I will say this. As much as the songs were not as good as the first film, nowhere near, Aaliyah Cravalho, it was really great to hear how her voice has matured because she sounds fantastic in the first Moana when she was like 16 years old, whenever she did that movie. She sounds so good in Moana 2. Like her voice she's a real powerhouse. She sounded fantastic. And so it was really nice to see how both Moana as the character has aged and matured, and how Aaliyah Cravalho as a voice actor and a vocalist has matured as well. So I did enjoy that about the film, getting to see the progression in that way. Toxic Gamer, what's going on? Toxic Gamer 331, how's it going, buddy? Saying Olo, Zach. Olo, right back to you, my friend. How's your day been? My day's been pretty good. Thanks for asking. Have you seen Big with Tom Hanks? If so, what are your thoughts? I love Big. Yeah, Big's fantastic. Classic Tom Hanks. Yeah, just a fun movie. I really enjoy it. Toxic Gamer 331 says, also same with Rat Race. I've seen Rat Race, but I saw it a really long time ago that I don't really remember it all that well. So I remember thinking it was all right, but I'll have to give that another watch. Toxic Gamer 331 says, those are my 2 favorite comedies of all time. Nice, man. Yeah, I'll have to watch Rat Race again. Also curious, are you going Black Friday shopping this week? No, probably not. I try not to go to those things. Mostly because I'm broke. But yeah, no, I might check them out, but I don't have any plans to. The Laser says Disney projects that were going to stream but went to theaters. Alien Romulus, smart move. Moana 2, Lilo and Stitch, and Freakier Friday. This shows that Disney is putting less on streaming, which has helped. Yep, because of Bob Iger. I tell you. Laser says the Star Wars shows, they have a lot more freedom to do whatever they want with. They have freedom to do whatever they want in Star Wars. Like, no one's handcuffing them. No one's telling them what to do. They get to make whatever they want. I think the shows allow them to go further in the exploration of the galaxy and spend more time in it. But when it depends how you're spending your time. And I don't think they've been spending their time well, in my opinion. Toxic Gamer 331 says, are you going to be seeing the new Wolfman movie next year done by Lee Winnell? Maybe. I don't have like major plans to. It's not high on the list of what I want to go see, but I might check it out if I hear good word of mouth. Talks Gear 331 says, I actually think Skeleton Crew seems like it could be fun compared to other Star Wars shows. Yeah, it absolutely could be. Again, a lot of my negativity towards Skeleton Crew is just based on how my experience has gone with Star Wars shows like Acolyte, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 3. They've all been duds for me. They've had moments. They've all had their moments. But overall, the shows have been duds. They need to get me back on board with their shows, especially after the Acolyte. Especially after the Acolyte. But yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing to John Watts or any of the actors or anyone behind the scenes of Skeleton Crew's fault of how I'm feeling. It's Lucasfilm, and it's their track record on Disney Plus. That's it. That's the only reason I'm feeling this way about Skeleton Crew. And it just looks like it's playing to a younger demographic, which is totally fine. But, you have to be realistic. The Laser says, how is Kathleen Kennedy not being fired? Papa, Grandpa Iger, what the heck? Yeah, I don't work in the Hollywood system, don't work in the studios. I have no idea. There's got to be some kind of political game going on there. There's got to be some kind of politics that she's been able to. It's insanity. It's insanity how long it's been going on that they can't get anything off the ground. And the only thing they've managed to get off the ground in theaters from 2019 is just a continuation of one of their Disney Plus TV shows. They're basically just making another season of Mandalorian like they would have done anyways, but this time they're formatting it as a movie and put it in theaters. That's it. It's already an IP. It's already a project within Star Wars that they would have had going anyways. So, it's ridiculous. Toxic331 says, also, are you excited for the Welcome to Derry TV series? It's a prequel show. I am. I'm very curious to see how that's going to turn out. And I believe Bill Skarsgård is returning, so I'm very curious to see how he does. Toxic Gamer says, also, do you think they'll be doing a chapter 3, chapter 3, or no? I don't think it's out of the question to do an It Chapter 3. The thing with It Chapter 3, though, that they're already kind of experimenting with Welcome to Derry, and I think depending on how well Welcome to Derry does, could depend on how we get an It Chapter 3, because both It and It Chapter 2 did very well, especially for horror films in the theaters. But you'd have to deviate from the book. You'd have to come up with your own thing. You'd have to do your own thing. So I think that's tougher to crack than some people might think. And I would be curious to see what they did outside of the source material. I honestly would. I'd be down for an It Chapter 3. Toxic Gamer 331 says, even though the Minecraft movie trailers were bad, maybe it could be successful. Oh, it absolutely could be successful. There have been many movies that have had terrible trailers. Minecraft, I'll be honest with you. Minecraft could be the best movie of the year next year. It easily could be the best movie of the year next year. If I had to put money on it, I'm not betting that it's going to be the best movie of the year next year, but it could be, because we have seen many movies that had terrible trailers that ended up being good movies. And we've seen many bad movies have great trailers that ended up being terrible movies. I personally liked the Venom trailers. All three movies. I liked the first trailer. I liked the Venom Let's Be Carnage trailer. And I liked Venom Last Dance's trailer. I liked all their trailers. I didn't like a single one of those movies. I didn't like a single one of the. Let There Be Carnage was okay. I didn't mind that one, but I didn't like a single one of those movies. So yeah, maybe the Minecraft movie is just what am I trying to say here? It's not presenting the actual movie well in the marketing. Maybe it's mismarketed. We'll have to wait and see, but I wouldn't bet on it. The Laser says, how long have you been watching Real Rejects? I've watched them for 5 years. Oh my gosh. I've been watching them. You're gonna make me feel old, dude. I've been watching them since high school. Because they used to just be Greg and John. And now he's got like a whole team and they do like these massive movie reactions. But they used to just do like regular movie reviews and trailer reactions. I think the very first video, or around the time that I first saw the Real Rejects, I think they were doing a Captain America Civil War trailer reaction. I definitely remember Greg reacting to the Spider-Man scene at the end of the trailer. So that's 2016, but I've probably been watching them since 2015. So almost a decade. almost a decade. Not like consistently, but like I've checked in on them for almost a complete decade now. The person I've watched the longest is Jeremy Jahns. He's the one that I first found that introduced me into the movie community sphere on YouTube, that led me to Chris Duckman, then The Schmoes Know, then Collider, then Black Nerd Comedy, then Screen Junkies was a big one. Screen Junkies movie fights and honest trailers, and then they all just kind of like collabed and they all lived in this bubble together. And yeah, those were the first ones. But Jeremy Jahns, I have been watching Jeremy Jahns since like 2000. When did Grown Ups? 2009, 2010, something like that. But yeah, no, Jeremy Jahns has been the one I've watched the longest. But I've watched Real Rejects for like a decade. Docs231 says, also watching Kick-Ass for the first time while watching you at the same time. Well, always an honor and a privilege to be part of the multitasking, my friend. Thank you so much for including me. Docs231 says, what do you predict Superman and Fantastic Four first steps trailers will drop? I do think that the Superman December rumor could be very true. Not Boxing Day. The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is also a rumor that I think is true. I think Superman trailer. I wouldn't be shocked if it dropped next month. I wouldn't be shocked if it dropped next month or the beginning of January. I think Fantastic Four first steps. That's before Superman. Fantastic Four first steps, I think, is going to drop with Captain America: Brave New World. So that's February. So I'm going to go January for Fantastic Four first steps as well. I think they're going to drop that for Captain America: Brave New World. So maybe early February for Fantastic Four. I'll go early January for Superman, and I'll go early February for Fantastic Four first steps. I think we get Superman first before we get Fantastic Four. Talks Game with 1 says, do you think Moana 2 will make 1 billion or will be successful? Well, it'll definitely be successful. We've talked a little bit about what I think it's going to make for $1 billion. It will definitely be successful, though. Definitely going to make a lot of money. The Laser says Avatar 3 is Fox, but Avatar 2 does have merch at Disney Store, so maybe I should have included it. Well, I mean, it's all Disney, right? Disney sucked up Fox. Now it's all Disney. Movie reviews with Ryan Lane, beloved channel member and friend. What's going on, dude? Says, for December, I'm really excited for the Lord of the Rings anime film. The English dub sounds really good. I mean, the trailers aren't really doing anything for me, but I was listening to the Christian Harloff show, and he got an advanced copy of the movie. He can't talk about it, but he said that it was really good. That's all he said, is that it was really good. So, hey, could be a good movie. The Laser says, I'm eating shell mac and cheese watching your awesome goated epic stream. Well, thank you so much, man, for also contributing and having me a part of your multitasking, man. Always an honor and a privilege to be part of your multitasking. I appreciate it. Collective Movie Man says, I don't think you'll like Heretic or Anora. Heretic because it has to do with a lot of religion, and Anora is really good movie, but there's a lot of sex in there, like 10 sex scenes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I probably won't be watching that. What is Anora? Anora is about a young girl. She works as a stripper. She meets this Russian guy and ends up falling for him and ends up getting married to him. And then the Russian family want her to get an annulment. Interesting. Sounds interesting, but you're right. Probably won't be up my alley. Talks Game with I appreciate when you guys watch out for me in that way, by the way. Thank you very much for respecting that. Talks Game with 51 says, what are your top 5 favorite Disney Channel movies? Disney. Okay, you got to put the High School Musical up there. Lemonade Mouth is up there. I thought the Wizard of Waverly Place, the movie, was awesome, especially when I was younger, is up there. Top 5. It's not many Disney Channel movies that I like watched beyond those ones. Well, I watched them, but I didn't fall in love. You know what? The Good Luck Charlie Christmas movie was actually pretty good when that came out. And for my final one, people are probably I don't remember a lot of the 90s ones. Like, I never saw Johnny Tsunami. I never saw the Cheetah Girls. I don't know. High School Musical and High School Musical 2. I'll put 2 High School Musicals in there. I don't care if it's cheating. That's off the top of my head. The Laser says, was it just me or did I feel a little hype for Moana 2? The marketing was decent but felt quiet, and when it came out today, it felt very quiet. I don't know about you, man, but I felt the buzz for it. My people in my life are talking about it. They're excited to see it. People who don't usually go to the movies are excited to take their kids to it. So there's a lot of buzz around it. Don't get it wrong. There's a lot of buzz around it. Talk to you one says, also, remember you said you saw Alien Romulus. What were your thoughts of it? Yeah, I did see Alien Romulus. I'm trying to remember. I thought it was good, not great. I liked the alien sequences quite a bit. The ending with the creepy alien baby creature disturbed the heck out of me, and it felt like it was kind of overstaying its welcome. For the most part, I would say I got what I wanted out of it. I kind of want to watch it again before I solidify my thoughts because there was something about it that just wasn't quite clicking with me. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the movie. It was not as bloody and gory as I thought it was gonna be, but still some really wicked kills. Some of the kills I think were a little mean-spirited, like with the pregnant lady and stuff. So I think some of that turned me off from the movie too, to be honest with you. It kind of reminded me of not nearly as bad, but when in Alien versus Predator Requiem, when the alien impregnates the woman giving birth, like I thought that was just sickening and disgusting. And there was a couple moments like that in Alien Romulus that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But for the most part, very solid Alien film. I enjoyed it. Collective Movie Man says Heretic is a religious horror movie. Ah, okay. Yeah, I probably won't see that one. The Laser says Lucasfilm has one project next year with Andor season 2. Ridiculous, ridiculous. But I'm excited for Andor season 2. Talks Game with 331 says, "What's a few Disney Channel movies you would love to get a second movie on Disney Plus?" I don't know, man. I'd have to. Lemonade Mouth would be cool, but there's no way to do Lemonade Mouth because Bridget Mendler is like running NASA right now, so she wouldn't do a movie for sure. You could do another Wizards movie because Beyond Waverly Place is on Disney Plus now, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, off the top of my head, dude, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Nathan John Movies says favorite Cobra Kai character. For me, it used to be Johnny, but I think he fell off a little at season 6. Oh, interesting. So I think I'll go with Robbie. Why did Johnny fall off? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, Robbie's my favorite too. I love Robbie. My least favorite is Devin. I can't stand Devin. She just whines and whines and whines. I'm not awesome. I want to be awesome. I, I, not the actress. I hate that character. I hate Devin. Oh, she's annoying. Yeah, no, I like Robbie. I like Kenny. I like what they did with Kenny. These past couple seasons. I like the arc he's had. Johnny's definitely up there. Chosen has grown up there. Chosen has been a very they've made Chosen a very fun comedic presence in the show. I really enjoyed Chosen, but it's probably Robbie. I like Robbie a lot. He's the heart of the show for me. I like Robbie. The Laser says you're the box office king, little bro. So how much can Mandalorian and Grogu make? That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I'm not the box office king. That's hard because you haven't seen a trailer. You don't know anything about it. I do think Mandalorian coming from Disney Plus being a movie is gonna 600 million. That's my safe net. 600 million if it's good. I'll say that. Collective Movie Man says good night, Zach. Well, good night, Collective Movie Man. Thank you so much for being here, dude. The show is made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you, dude. You have a good night. All right, the Laser. We're getting close to the end of the questions here, too. That's crazy. The Laser says It Chapter 2 did have a massive dip from the first one. Chapter 1 made 700 million and is the biggest horror movie of all time. And the sequel just made 400 million. Well, the sequel wasn't as good. I don't really like the sequel all that much, to be honest. The sequel to me came across more as unintentionally hilarious than it did scary. I don't know what it was, the execution, the way it was directed. It was the same director as It Chapter 1, so I don't know why, but I laughed a lot. I laughed a lot in It Chapter 2, and it was moments where I don't think I was supposed to be laughing. So that movie played more like a comedy, a dark comedy to me than the first one did. And I think the adult section of it is just hard to pull off. It's just hard to it just works better with the kids. So if they were going to do It Chapter 3 and bring Pennywise back, you do it with kids. You don't age them as adults. You keep them kids, and you do another Stand By Me, Goonies horror movie with kids. Talks Game with 331 says, just came in here to hang for a little bit, but have a nice rest of your night, man. Great stream as always from a great guy. I'll see you in the next one, everybody. Pizza time. Well, thank you so much, Talks Gamer, as always, for being here, for jumping in the chat and hanging out with us. The show is made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you, dude. You have a good night. Nathan John Movies says, I am Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines. Yeah, there's some dialogue in that trailer that's questionable, I would say, huh? Oh man, that movie looks ridiculous. The Laser says Superman trailer releases mid-December to release with Mufasa. I don't know why Well, I mean, I guess Mufasa is gonna be a pretty big movie, so I guess you'd want it attached to Mufasa. I just don't know why they would. Well, I guess the studios don't really get to pick what plays before their movie. It just seems kind of weird that they would pick Mufasa for that, but it's gonna drop online first, anyways, right? Like that's the real thing. So I could see mid-December for sure. Nathan Dread Movie says favorite live action musical of all time. Favorite live action musical of all time. I love Willy Wonka. I love Singing in the Rain. I love Singing in the Rain. That's a really good one. Um, yeah, it's one of those two, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Singing in the Rain or High School Musical. And I'm not even being facetious about that. Nathan Red Movie says Johnny is just bickering like a baby now with Daniel for the billionth time. I am getting tired of that. I am getting tired of that. That was one of the the things holding part 1 of season 6 back for me was we're doing this again. Johnny and Daniel can't get along. It's getting tired. I agree with that. Johnny's bickering like a baby now with Daniel for the billionth time. Also, I think after the stream, watch the last episode of season 6, part 2. I would love to hear your thoughts, leaving it at that. Watch the last episode. Is episode 10 the last episode? One second. I'm going to quickly check my Disney Plus that I just gave great word of mouth to tonight. Because I'm on episode 10. So if that's the last episode of the show for part 2, why is Disney Plus? Disney Plus is Cobra. It's on freaking Netflix. Why would I go? Okay. That was a brain fart of all brain farts. I'm searching Disney Plus. Why won't you let me find Cobra Kai, dude? Because Cobra Kai is not on Disney Plus. It's on freaking Netflix. I didn't. Okay. I'm on the last episode. I didn't realize that. Dang. Oh, it makes me a little sad now. Okay. I'm on the last episode of part 2. I had no idea. I might do that. Depending on how late I stay up. I might finish part 2 now. The Laser says, can we agree that 2019 was one of the biggest years in movie history? Oh yeah. The total box office was $42 billion with $9 billion hits. Movies like Toy Story 4, Endgame, and Lion King released in the same year. 2019 was a beast. 2019 was crazy. We took those days for granted, man. We had no idea what was coming around the corner, obviously, but we took those days for granted. Yeah, 2019 was oh, what an incredible year. Next movie says, guys, I think he's Steve and he learned from the minds. I think so too, buddy. I think you might be onto something. The Laser says, that's why I'm excited for 2026 because there's so many big movies and it's so cool to have a tone of big movies in this year. Plus, I missed 2019 and was such an amazing year for me. Yeah, I mean, we're getting back. We're ramping back up. COVID took a hit. A lot of repercussions came from COVID in the movie business. So, yeah, we're ramping back up, man. We're getting there. And 2025, 2026 is looking great. The Laser says Superman trailer in December makes sense because Lord of the Rings and that's Warner Brothers and it's 7 months before it releases in July. That makes a little bit more sense. Like I said, it's gonna drop online anyways, so it doesn't really matter what it plays before. But yeah, I could see it being mid-December for sure. Enviro Earth 2 says, why do you think Spider-Man 4 is taking so long? Like 5 or 6 years once it's released. We'll just get in the story right. Tom Holland wanted to go off and do his own thing. There was a moment there where Tom Holland was talking about, like, you know what? I'm done playing Spider-Man. Pass it on to someone. Maybe get Miles Morales in there. Pass it on to someone else. Whether that was hardcore negotiating through the press, who knows? But yeah, it takes time to get it together. And Tom Holland went off and did other things that he wanted to pursue. I believe he had to sign a new contract as well. His contract was up after No Way Home. So he probably had to renegotiate his contract. That probably took some time. So yeah, there's probably a number of reasons why it's taken a little bit for Spider-Man 4. But it's coming. It's coming. The Laser says Moana 2 earns an A- on Cinema Score. Look, I'm glad people are enjoying it. Just because I don't, I'll give my review away. Just because I don't recommend a movie doesn't mean that you don't go watch the movie. It's just my nobody opinion recommendation. I didn't like Moana 2. Doesn't mean you won't like Moana 2. And I'm glad people are liking it. I am. I'm personally disappointed that Disney didn't give Moana 2 the light of day that it deserved, and the respect and the passion wasn't there for me. But I'm glad people are liking it. I just think they could have done better, and they know they could have done better. So, yeah. It's hard for me to tell people to go watch a movie where I feel like Disney just spat it out. The Laser says, did you hear that Denis Villeneuve has no interest in directing a Star Wars film? The problem is that it all derailed in 1983 with Return of the Jedi. Is that his quote? The problem is that it all derailed in 1983 with Return of the Jedi. Look, I'm surprised anyone wants to make a Star Wars project. I mean, with what happened to Rian Johnson and what happened with J.J. Abrams and all these directors, like, if you direct a Star Wars movie, you're just asking to be hated on. And who wants that? Who wants that in their life? So I'm not surprised that Denis Villeneuve says he won't be directing a Star Wars film. I don't expect him to. And that's just a sad, that's part of the sad state that Star Wars is in. Enviro2 says, people have said that Flash Thompson should be Venom. He is a terrible choice. Who would you cast? Others suggested Michael Mando, who was supposed to be Scorpion. People have said that Flash Thompson, you mean the actor who played Flash Thompson? Because Flash Thompson's a character in the movies. Should be Venom. Who would you cast? Who would I cast within the movies or just in general? I don't know who I would cast off the top of my head. Like, if you want to do a Eddie Brock, I think what they should do, regardless of who they cast, I think they should introduce Eddie Brock in the next film. And I think that you should build the dynamic and relationship between Peter and Eddie Brock in the next Spider-Man film. At the end of Secret Wars, do what they did in the comics, get that black suit on him at the end of Secret Wars, go back to the Spider-Man franchise with the black suit, and Eddie Brock's relationship builds again. And you do a full Spider-Man movie in that black suit with Eddie Brock there, build the relationship more. And the third movie of the trilogy is Venom. Now, who do you cast for that? I don't know. Who would be? Austin Butler could do it. Obviously, I mean, he may have to bulk up a little bit more, but he could do it. Austin Butler and Tom Holland may be fun to see play off of each other. Has to be someone around Tom's age with the muscle like Glenn Powell seems a little bit too old. Pedro Pascal. You cast Pedro Pascal. He's the next Venom. That's my opinion. Get Pedro Pascal in there. But no, Flash Thompson, I don't know. I don't really see it. The Laser says, crazy that Tom Holland's almost 30. Yeah, man, we watched that kid grow up. Kid, he's older than me. But yeah, we watched him grow up. And I'm very excited for the next phase of Spider-Man films because Tom Holland is now looking the age of a college Peter Parker. I went back and watched Captain America Civil War with my wife a couple days ago. And it's a little itty baby. Tom Holland is so funny to go back and see that he's grown so much, not just physically and as a person, but in the role of Spider-Man. It's been a pleasure to watch him grow and play this character, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does in the next Spider-Man movies to come. And he's looking that college age now, man. He's looking that college age. Julio, what's going on, Julio? Thanks for joining. Saying hello, Zach. Well, hello to you. It's a pleasure to have you here, man. Enviro2 says, what's happening with Supergirl? Is it a movie, a TV show that James Gunn is making? And are you excited? It's a movie. They're casting it. It's been written. That's it. That's ramping up pretty quickly, actually, to get going. I think, if I remember correctly, that Supergirl is going to debut in Superman, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that, but it's cast, it's written, it's getting ready to shoot, I think, pretty soon here, and it's a movie, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for it. I haven't seen I haven't read the comic that it's based off of. I don't think I will because I just want to go into the movie blind. But James Gunn's excited. He says it's one of the best comics he's read in a while. And Supergirl, I mean, she's been on the CW, but her movie from the 80s or whatever it was, she needs redemption. I'll put it that way. In the theatrical experience, she needs redemption. Nathan's Read a Movie says, do you like Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai? Cobra Kai never dies. I am. I didn't know if I was. Yeah, man. I don't know if you guys can see it. Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai never dies, man. I'm wearing my Cobra Kai pants. My fly down? Sure hope my fly wasn't down. Yeah, no, I'm wearing my Cobra Kai pants, man. Cobra Kai never dies. But Cobra Kai is the villain, so Miyagi-Do, man. But Miyagi-Do, man, like, they're chumps. Cobra Kai all the way, man. Cobra Kai never dies. The Laser says, did you see Inside Out 2 is at $1.698 billion worldwide. Number 8 of the biggest worldwide movies of all time. 10th biggest film domestically at 652 million and hit 1 billion internationally. Yeah, it's a big movie. Biggest movie of the year by far. I think it's going to remain the biggest movie of the year, to be honest with you. I don't think anything's touching that. Bravo is all I can say. It deserves it. Inside Out 2 was phenomenal. Inside Out 2 was fantastic. Everything that I've said about Moana 2 is the opposite for Inside Out 2. Brilliant film. And I honestly think it's a film that should be shown in elementary schools moving forward. There should be a day set aside where it's Inside Out 2 Day. You watch the movie and then you have a project or questions or something regarding the movie. I think it's a very important movie for this next generation. I cannot wait to show my son it when the time comes. That feels so weird to say. But yeah, I'm very happy for its success. I loved Inside Out 2. The 8th Avenue says they should bring back Topher Grace as Eddie. You know what? You've got my vote. You've got my vote to do that. I will sign the petition. Where is it? Where is it? Zach Milne. I will sign that petition. My hot take is I like Topher Grace's Venom more than Tom Hardy's Venom. I know. Calm down. I know. That's why I said it was a hot take. Nathan China Movie says, do you like Terry Silver or John Kreese more? I like Silver, but my brother likes Kreese. Probably Kreese. I mean, Silver is Kreese just like, he's so manipulative, and he's also got that brute force behind him, whereas Terry Silver, you know, he's just a rich guy with money. He's also, he plays pawns a little bit differently than Kreese, but I honestly think that Kreese is a little bit more intimidating to me, and I get way more invested. Like with Cobra Kai, what's going on with it right now, I'm more invested in the Kreese stuff going on than the Terry Silver stuff going on right now. So I'm going to go Kreese. He's the OG, and he stays the number one. The 8th Avenue says, I've been listening the whole time. I haven't been able to comment because I'm driving. Oh, dude, thank you so much. That's always like, from my perspective, like when I drive and I listen to like the Christian Harloff show and the John Campea show, it's always really cool to hear that people are listening to this show and listening to me the way I listen to them in the car. That's always just kind of like a mind-blowing moment, and I'm so appreciative of that, man. So thank you so much for joining us for this entire time, Ace, and it was a pleasure to be a part of your ride. But you need to slow down a little bit, man, and take it easy on those corners, okay? You're getting me a little car sick. My favorite Cobra Kai character is Miguel. He's so badass. Him and Kenny can take on anyone. Yeah, Miguel is definitely, I mean, he's the lead. He started the whole thing for sure. And I love him. I love Miguel. I just am more emotionally invested in Robbie over Miguel. But Miguel's like top 3 for sure. I love Miguel. Have you seen that with T? Says, I'm excited for Superman and Supergirl. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious of the tone of Supergirl, because I hear the comic that they're basing the movie on is a darker tone, a way darker story. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do there. Julio says, I'm going to watch Gladiator 2. I'm ready to be entertained for tomorrow. Well, look, I can't promise you how you're going to feel about the movie, but for me personally, I had a good time with Gladiator 2. Not as good as the first Gladiator, but come on. Like, was it ever going to be? Brutal fatalities and gladiator action, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So I definitely hope that you enjoy it too. Have a great time, man. Hope you love it. Have you seen that with T? Says, no one remembers the Supergirl movie. Yeah, no, that's a forgotten, as it should be. It should be forgotten. It's a terrible film. Terrible. She plays volleyball. Like, are you kidding me? The 8th Avenue says Team Eagle Fang. Oh yeah, you can't forget about Eagle Fang. You can't forget about them. Have you seen it with T? Says, no, Daniel is the real villain. Daniel might be my Daniel annoys me a lot sometimes in that show. Sometimes he's just so aloof, or he's just so melodramatic. It's just like, Daniel, go back to work. Get over yourself. Go run your dealership like a responsible adult. Yeah, no. I like Daniel. I like Ralph Macchio, but I definitely choose Johnny over Daniel. If I Earth 2 says, did you hear there is a Drake and Josh reboot? Shut up. Shut up. No, there's not. Did you hear there is a Drake and Josh reboot? No, there's not. Joking. Yeah. I was just about to look it up. Joking. Yeah. No, there's not. Don't get my hopes up, man. That's mean. The Hit This Better Movie says, do you like Stranger Things or Cobra Kai more? Probably the two Netflix shows I think about the most. I like Stranger Things more. Cobra Kai, look, Cobra Kai at its best is schlocky, melodramatic fun. It just captures this tone where it doesn't take things too seriously, yet at the same time takes the most ridiculous things way too seriously, but always has fun with it and is believable with characters. I have fun with Cobra Kai. Sometimes it goes too far. Stranger Things is like a straight up like invested drama that I'm in. Like I'm so excited for season 5. I love these characters. I love this world. I'm definitely more into Stranger Things, but I enjoy both. I enjoy both. The 8th Avenue says facts. Daniel has always been the villain of the Karate Kid movies. Someone's been watching How I Met Your Mother. The Laser says, hello, my box office king. How much can Inside Out 3 make? The movie I'm predicting will release sometime in 2030. Yeah, that's not even announced yet. $1 billion. It'll make $1 billion. Absolutely. Envire Earth 2. There was news from Miranda Cosgrove that iCarly is getting a movie to wrap up the canceled reboot. Yes, I did hear about that. And I have been infamous on the channel. I grew up with iCarly. I love iCarly. I go back and watch some episodes sometimes, not as much as I'll go back and watch Drake and Josh and stuff, but I will go back and watch episodes of iCarly. I think it still holds up. I still enjoy it. Love that show. Was so amped for the reboot. Was so excited. And I don't like the reboot. I think it's cringy. I don't think it's funny. And I think it tries too hard to be adult. That being said, what Paramount Plus did to us iCarly fans who have been there since 07, Freddie or Freddie, one of them, I think it was Carly, proposes to Freddie and you cancel that show right afterwards? Is there a bigger dagger to the heart that you could do to this fandom than that? So yeah, I haven't liked the reboot. It's been a miss. I like seeing the characters back. That's been a joy. But for me, the reboot as a whole has been a miss. But even with me saying that, this movie better happen. Because I don't care how we got there. I don't care how the series made me feel. Whether it's a train wreck, whether it's another Zoe 102, which was not very good. I'm going to the Creddy wedding. We are getting the Creddy wedding. Movie form or whatever form. And I will be there. I will be there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I think they deserve it. Also, one of the, and this is business. It's okay, but okay in the sense that they can actually do it. But a dick move by Paramount Plus to cancel that show while the actors were on strike and while the writers were on strike, and they didn't know that they were not going to come back to work after that season. They canceled it while the writers and actors strike was going on, which they had every right to do, but it's still a dick move. So I am excited that they're getting this shot. Miranda Cosgrove, Jerry Trainer, Nathan Kress, they deserve to get to finish off this series in a way that they actually get to write a finale and not just have Freddie, will you marry me? And then that's it because Paramount Plus said so, which they had every right to do. But I'm happy about this. They deserve it. I hope it gets made and I hope it comes out great. I'll be watching it. I will be watching it because I will be at the Creddy wedding. I've been waiting for it since 07. I don't care if it's in 2027. I will be there. I will be at that wedding. I'll be seated there. Mark my words. And then I'll probably crap on the show. I'll probably hate it. Anyways, have you seen that what T says? That's a hot take, but I don't disagree. Welcome to the Topher Grace is better than Tom Hardy fandom, buddy. Enviro 2 says, did you see the trailer for the new Jack Black Christmas movie? He's the devil or something looks wacky. Yeah, Dear Santa. It looks dumb to me. I don't really care for it, honestly. So I probably won't be watching it. The trailer didn't do anything for me. It looked kind of stupid. The premise itself was kind of like, haha, cheeky. Like he spelled Satan, not Santa, but Nah, I probably won't be watching it. The Laser says, I always watch your stream wherever I go. I am at Olive Garden or in the car. I always watch your streams. Dude, I can't tell you how honored that makes me feel. Like that is incredible. You just made my night. You and Ace both just made my night. Like that's crazy. It's so wild. I'm just in my spare bedroom in Canada in just talking to a webcam. It's crazy to think of places that I am that you guys are carrying me. Like that's just cool. That's just cool. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nathan's Random Movies says, did Cobra Kai give you a new appreciation for the Karate Kid sequels? And are you excited for Karate Kid Legends? That's 3 years after Cobra Kai. A new appreciation for the sequels, a little bit. I think it has enhanced characters from because I didn't care about Terry Silver. I definitely didn't care about Mike Barnes or Chosen when I watched Karate Kid 2 or Karate Kid 3. But they've been able to enhance those characters, redeem those characters, give those characters a lot more to do. And so, yeah, I definitely like the characters more when I go back to Karate Kid 3 and Karate Kid 2, which I don't go back to those very often. But when I do, I do have a different lens that I'm looking at those characters as now because I've got so much more information and more time with them. So, yeah, definitely in retrospect, it has changed my mind on some of the sequels. And I am excited for Karate Kid Legends. I'm very fascinated to see how they're going to play Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio together. I have no idea what they're planning with the movie. People keep calling it multiverse. It doesn't have to be multiverse. One takes place in the United States, one took place in China. They can meet. It can end up being I am half expecting at the end of Cobra Kai Part 3 that Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith are going to be there at the Saikai Taikai. I don't think they will, but there's part of me that's like, Jackie Chan's going to pop up at the end of this series, isn't it? I don't think he should, but there's a part of me that thinks he will. The Laser says best part of the last show was can I have a McGriggle during the drive-thru? Oh man, yeah, that was so much fun. But shout out to Michael Entity, dude, MVP of that show, going through the drive-thru live on stream. That was so much fun. And yeah, Jacob is a riot. All those guys, I had such a great time on that show, man. The 100th episode was such a success. Thank you to everyone who joined us, everyone who was on camera with me and joined me. Like it was better than I could have imagined. It was so much fun. Enviro 2 says, will you be watching Sonic 3 and do you think it could be the best? Yes and yes. It could also be the worst. We won't know until we see it, but I'll be watching it. Yeah. And I do think it looks like the best. The Laser says it took Marvel 23 films to have a female lead film. DC, it took one. Who cares? Who cares? And technically the DCEU took, what was Wonder Woman? 3 or 4? I don't know. Woo! I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say to that. Yeah, they did. They had 23 movies, still a female lead, and DC took one. DCU took 3. I don't know. I don't really care as long as the movie's good. Which most people didn't like Captain Marvel. The Laser says, I just heard now that Gladiator 2 cinematographer says Ridley Scott has changed and is now lazy and rushes to get things done. I mean, look, he's 86 years old. He's probably not spry anymore. And he's probably, I mean, he makes a lot of stuff. But he's passionate about it. So that's great. I didn't like Napoleon. His last effort, Napoleon, I definitely didn't like. But the most important thing is, do you feel it in his movies? And with Gladiator 2, no, I didn't feel it. Gladiator 2 felt like a much younger director made that movie than Ridley Scott at 86. I mean, the action sequences, it felt like you were back in the early aughts action sequences. It was really well done. He did a really good job with that. The 8th Avenue says, so who do you like better, Sam or Tori? Definitely Tori. Sam annoys me sometimes, man. Sam is just like, there's something about her. I sometimes she irks me. Sometimes she's just so, again, whiny, or she's just kind of meek, and oh, I'm doubting myself. And it's Tori, man, she's got gumption, and she goes through so much crap. I mean, with the stuff that she's going through in season 6 right now with her mom and everything, and going back to Cobra, like everything that Tori is dealing with, she just does it with such confidence. And there's also tragedy to her character, and when you add tragedy and you get me enamored with the character in that way, Tori has a lot more going for her than Sam does. Sam's just a preppy little rich girl who got lucky that her dad knew how to do karate because now she's able to travel the globe and be with her boyfriend. Um, that's such a disservice to who the Sam character is, but I'm standing by it. Sam sucks. She doesn't suck, but definitely taking Tori over Sam. Definitely. He says neither. Oh, that's funny. Via Earth 2 says, sorry, do you know how to watch the Drake and Josh Christmas movie? Never seen it before. Well, buddy, you can just I did this last time too. Dang it. I'm not as smooth at this as I used to be. I can't even see what I'm trying to grab here. I have I was gonna say you can just come over to my house because I have the DVD, but I can't grab it right now. So isn't it on Paramount Plus? The Drake and Josh Christmas Merry Christmas Drake and Josh should be on Paramount Plus. Where's my dang Drake and Josh DVD? Oh, there. That's not. Dang it. Okay. Merry Christmas, Drake. No. There we go. There we go. It was right next to that one. There you go. You can just come over to my house, buddy. Merry Christmas, Drake and Josh. Been holding on to this since 2008. Drake and Josh. Stupid movie. That movie doesn't really plot wise make any sense. It doesn't hold up at all, but it's nostalgic and I love it and I watch it every Christmas. Have you seen that with T says, have you seen the trailer for The Amateur with Rami Malek? It looks interesting. Have I? Oh, that sounds from. I probably did, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Honestly, I can't remember. Julia says, I can't wait for my birthday next week. I might be getting a New York hat and Godzilla -1 Blu-ray. Dude, awesome. Godzilla -1. That'll be a great Blu-ray to get. I gotta get that on Blu-ray myself, man. I love that movie. Love that movie. Yeah, man, I hope you get it. I hope you get that for your birthday. And happy early birthday if I don't get to see you next week. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great one. Have you seen what T says? The show no one talks about that's on Paramount Plus is Lioness. That show is incredible. I keep seeing ads for that when I'm watching my Firefox TV. And I think it looks interesting, but I just don't have Paramount Plus at the moment. The Lawrence Report. What's going on, Lawrence Report? Thanks for joining, buddy. He says, what's up, Zach? Do you watch Superman and Lois? I do not, but I should because I hear great things about it. And it's ending this season. So maybe it's time that I just binge the whole show because I know the actor from when he was on the CW Arrowverse, but I hear that Superman and Lois doesn't really connect to that Arrowverse anymore. So you don't really have to stay caught up to get it. So I should because everybody is everybody's talking about it and it sounds good, so I should watch it. The Ace Avenue says Sam and Freddie made a better couple in my opinion. Well, dude, the show disagreed with you because how long did their relationship last, huh? Like 3 episodes? And they were so toxic together. They were a terrible couple. I enjoyed watching them together. I enjoyed having the SETI kind of 4-episode arc that they did, but they just kind of proved that they weren't meant to be together, man. They were so toxic and they just did not get along. They were polar opposites and that just it didn't make them attract. That whole relationship was a train wreck the entire show. And honestly, even when I was a kid watching iCarly what was that? I was probably 13. Yeah, I was probably like 13 or whatever at the time that they were dating in iCarly. Even I felt at the time that it was forced. It felt like at the time the show just wanted to have its cake and eat it too and please both sides of the fandom. So sometimes Freddie and Carly were together and then they got Sam and Freddie together for a little bit. It felt very forced that they did it, but they were together for a little bit. And then they went back to Carly and Freddie. So yeah, the SETI stuff always felt like they were just trying to appease one side of the fandom, but it never really worked for me. And I was fine with it just being 4 episodes long. The Laser says Paramount Plus is a dookie booty streaming service. All right, man. Fair enough. Virus says Creddy Wedding. Oh yeah, man. The Creddy Wedding. I'll be there. Nathan Van Movie says, what's the most painful, tedious, boring, hard to sit through film franchise that you have sat through? The hardest, painful, tedious, boring, hard to sit through. The whole franchise? Well, if it's that bad, I don't think I've ever watched the whole franchise. You know, I might get flack for this. The Godzilla franchise, the early movies. The first one's great. I got through 12 chronologically. I think I liked maybe 3 or 4 of them, but they get so repetitive and so redundant. I had to stop watching them. There's like 40 of them, and I tried to watch them all in chronological order, and I stopped at 12 because it got painful and tedious and boring and hard to sit through. Unfortunately, that's one I got to go with right now. But that's a great question, man. The Ace Avenue says, I'm rewatching the Creed movies. Donnie and Bianca is one of my favorite on-screen couples. Who are some of your favorite on-screen couples? Yeah, they're a good one. Donnie and my favorite, honestly, Troy and Gabriella's in there. I don't care. That's probably the first couple I ever fell in love with was Troy and Gabriella. If we're going to TV, Monica and Chandler from Friends is up there. If we're staying in the movies, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone in The Amazing Spider-Man was electric. I really like them together. I really like Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling in La La Land as well. What are some other ones that stand out to me? I like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore in 50 First Dates as well. That one comes to mind. There's a couple. There's a couple that they're not like definitive, but there's a couple that are in my mind. Sully Streams, what's going on, Sully? How's it going, man? Welcome to the island that you and I are on of the only people who don't like Moana 2. That's not true. We're not the only people, but I related a lot to your review. You said a lot of points that I was thinking throughout the movie. So appreciated your review, man. I thought you did a really good job on that. Sully Stream says, Zach, what's your most anticipated movie for the rest of the year? I'm dying to see Nosferatu. For the rest of the year, honestly, I don't really have one. I mean, it's not Craven. It's not really Mufasa. I guess it would be Sonic 3. I guess off the top of my head, that's what I'm feeling. But everything that I was anticipating is come and gone mostly. So I guess I'll go Sonic 3. But there's nothing that I'm like really itching to get at this point. Everything's just gonna be pleasant surprises from here on out. Laser says Sully, the goat is here. He is the goat. Yes, he is. Thanks for joining us, Sully. And Fire 2 says, were you a fan of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? A reboot would be cool. Also, what happened to Wizards of Waverly Place? Suppose reboot. It happened, dude. Wizards Beyond Waverly Place is out. It's not out. Okay. No one from Disney is watching this, but I don't care. I'm going to speak to Disney right now. Hey, Disney. Hey, your Disney Plus division. Hey, where the heck is Wizards Beyond Waverly Place on Disney Plus Canada? Where is it? Hello? Why don't we have it? The States have it. Disney Plus Canada doesn't have it yet. I bought the first episode on Apple iTunes. It was all right. Yeah, no, the Wizards Beyond Waverly Place reboot, it happened. It's airing in the States, not in Canada. They hate us over here, apparently. We don't get the magic. But as far as my fandom for Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, I was a fan of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I've gone back and watched a couple episodes. They don't hold up as well for me as, say, an iCarly or a Drake and Josh, but they're fun to revisit. They're nostalgic. I watched the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody Christmas special still, where they're all trapped in the Tipton Hotel. I think that one's still good. Sweet Life on Deck, it's just, it definitely plays a little bit more fantastical and kiddie than Sweet Life of Zack and Cody did, even though it still plays for kids. But yeah, it's not one that I go and revisit very often. It doesn't hold up for me as much as an iCarly or Drake and Josh does. But a reboot, if the Sprouse twins were into it, I like Cole and Dylan Sprouse's sense of humor a lot. So I feel like they could do something really special with it, but I don't think it'll ever happen. Have you seen that with T Sully, aka the Moana hater? Me and Sully are on the same island, man. We've sailed to the same island of being in the minority of not liking Moana 2. Have you seen that with T says apparently the whole world hates Moana 2. I'm still excited to take my daughter. Dude, don't let us negative Nellies rain on your parade. Go experience it for yourself. I genuinely hope that you and your daughter love it. I really do. I hope you have a great time with it. Unfortunately, my experience with Moana 2 was lackluster, underwhelming, and it felt like it had nothing that I liked about the first film in it. But that might not be an issue for you. So I sincerely hope that you and your daughter love the movie, man. I hope you have a great time. Definitely go check it out. Jason Callan, what's going on, dude? Thanks for joining, Jason. He says, hi, how are you? I'm doing pretty well, dude. How are you? It's funny, we were almost done with all the comments and questions, and now it's like a whole new flood of people have come in. So thank you, everybody, for joining, and thank you for being here. Sully Stream says, I'm sorry, T. I was hoping for the best. Yeah, me too, Sully. Me too. Sully says, I cannot wait for Sonic 3 as someone that grew up replaying Sonic Adventure 2 constantly. Yeah, this movie's tailor-made for people like you, man. I hope you love it. Hope we all love it. Enviro 2 says the High School Musical reboot TV series was the worst reboot I ever saw. Ooh, Ace is gonna give you hands, man. Ace loves the reboot. I only watched like the first episode, and then I kind of breathed a sigh of relief when they kind of explained that the High School Musical movies were just movies in that universe. It wasn't connected to the movies, and I was like, oh, so I don't have to watch this. It's not canon to the movies I love. Phew. Okay, and I clicked off. But I've heard good things about it, mostly from Ace. So maybe I'll go back and watch it one day. But yeah, I don't know if it's the worst I've ever seen based on that one episode. Enviro 2 says the original movies were so good. High School Musical is the best, especially for people who grew up with it. It's the best. The Laser says the thing I love about Sonic 3 is that there was less humans and a lot more from the games. Yeah, they've kind of earned it in this sense, right? Like we said at the beginning of the show, like it started off as a road trip movie with Sonic, and James Marsden played it very safe, had James Marsden in there. Now they've really gained the faith and earned the respect from the fans that they're able to pull back on the human characters, put more of the lore and the Sonic characters forefront. And it looks like all that is culminating with Sonic 3. It looks like it's going to be the most Sonic of all the Sonic movies. The Laser says Gladiator 3 is being written right now. Honestly, after Gladiator 2, I'd be down for a Gladiator 3. Just give me more of that awesome Gladiator action. Scale back a little bit on repeating the same beats as the first Gladiator, and I'll be there. I'll be seated because Gladiator 2 gave me no reason to think that I shouldn't be. Nathan Jenner Movies says it is crazy that I just never cared for or enjoyed 2001: A Space Odyssey. I just do not enjoy it, nor do I understand it or what it's supposed to gain out of it. I don't think anyone understands it. You ask 15 people what they thought of Space Odyssey and what they think it means, you're going to get 15 different answers. That's kind of the fun of the movie, but I don't blame you for not liking it or caring for it. It's kind of slow. It's kind of unless you want to play the thinking game with it and trying to analyze what's this mean, what's the themes, what's the symbolism of this, what's this trying to say, it's honestly not a very entertaining movie. I'll just be honest. It's not a very I definitely have only watched it once. I've never gone back to it. I thought it was a beautiful film, but not very entertaining. So I don't disagree with you. Enviro 2 says the only shows I have to look forward to are You Season 5 and Dexter prequel and Dexter sequel. I hope you love those, man. I haven't seen anything from those. Sully Stream says wildly low blow for that DP to say that about sorry, wildly low blow for that. Oh, I see. This is Gladiator. Wildly low blow for that DP to say that about an 86-year-old Ridley Scott. Gladiator 2 is one of the rare blockbusters this year that left its entire budget on screen. Yeah, it did have a massive budget. You did see it on screen. Yeah, I guess we're going back to that comment of he seems lazy and rushed now. Yeah, I think that is pretty disrespectful to say, especially if you worked with him. But the most important thing is that did that come across in the movie itself when I was watching it? It did not. So I don't really care how he is behind the scenes. It still delivered a good movie. So I'm fine with it. Enviro 2 says Superman and Lois is ending next week. Might watch the finale. Maybe you should. It's an hour of Lex versus Superman and his family. Should I just watch the finale without having watched any of the show? I'll just do I'll do the Dylan is in trouble. I watched the first episode, then I'll watch the last episode, and that's all I'll watch of Superman and Lois. The Laser says, I wonder if they'll make a Keanu joke with Shadow in Sonic 3, Sonic Movie 1, and Knuckles have Keanu Reeves references. Also, I have a terrible spelling because I type fast. No worries, man. I'm able to decipher. I appreciate you being here. And I definitely think there will be. I definitely think there will be. I don't see how you don't. Jason Kalan says, last week, Watch Mojo did a video of the top 30 zombie movies of all time, but didn't include Overlord. I think that was a huge mistake. What do you think? But was very happy they mentioned Dr. Butcher, MD. I haven't seen Overlord. I remember when that came out, I was very interested to see it, and I never got around to seeing it, so I can't have an opinion on that, honestly. Nathan John Movie says, who's the worst character, Lapuso or Devin? Oh, Devin. I like what's his not Lapuso, but what's his actual name? Not Ethan. What's his name? Sam and what's the brother's name? I don't remember the brother's name, but no, I don't hate him. Devin annoys the crap out of me. Every time Devin's on screen, I literally want to mute the screen. I literally want to skip the scene. She's just gonna, I want to be a badass, but I'm not. Johnny, I'm not a badass yet. Johnny, I want to be one. And I'm just like, Devin, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Yeah, I don't like I'll just call him Lapuso. I like Lapuso way more than I like Devin. What the heck's that kid's name? The Laser says, "Do you watch John Flickinger and Austin Burke?" I don't watch a lot of Austin Burke. I've seen a couple of his videos. I like the guy. He just hasn't really made it into my daily rotation. But I've been watching John Flickinger, the Flick Pick, since about 2013. Yeah, 2013, 2014. He's actually the reason why I buy physical media. John Flickinger and his Flick trips. I lived vicariously through John Flickinger for years. Him going out and having the freedom of driving around and buying Blu-rays. I dreamed of the day that I had money and a car and was able to do that. And yeah, he's a big inspiration, if not the biggest inspiration, as to why I even started collecting physical media. It's all because of the Flick Pick. Enviro2 says, "Hi, sure, just send me a plane ticket." Oh, dude, come on, work for it. You gotta buy your own ticket here. Enviro2 says, "Do you think the Spider-Man Sony show with Nicolas Cage will be good?" I think I'm so very, very curious about Spider-Man Noir, because Nicolas Cage doing the voice work for a character in an animated Spider-Man movie is one medium and is one performance. Doing a live action performance with Nicolas Cage, who's nearly 60 years old, is a whole different thing. I'm so curious to see how it's going to translate into live action. But you got Phil and Lord involved. Nicolas Cage is back. I think it's going to be a very interesting product, and I think I'll put my money on it being good more than bad. I think it's going to be good. I'm just very curious to see how they're going to pull it off. The Laser says Superman and Lois ends next week, and it's the last DC show on CW. Okay. Wow. The end of an era. Julio says, "Great, Scott. This is heavy. Fun fact, I have Back to the Future trilogy on DVD. Nice, man. I got the trilogy on Blu-ray. I love those movies. Favorite movies of all time. I love to have a fellow Back to the Future fan in here." Enviro2 says, "Laser, the Arrowverse ended with The Flash. At least for me, TV needs more new shows. All the best shows have ended. Wish for an Arrowverse movie." Yeah, but most people have moved over to streaming. So a lot of stuff that older generations watch is still on TV, but TV is going to die out. Once the older generation dies out, TV is going to die out. Streaming is taking over. Enviro2 says the good news is that Dexter is alive. Well, that's good to hear, man. Good for Dexter. Enviro2 says my favorite on-screen couple is Clark and Lena in Smallville, Oliver, Felisa, and Arrow, and Mike and Susan in Desperate Housewives. Nice. I only know of Oliver and Felicity in Arrow, and I don't know. Felicity got under my skin sometimes on that show. Have you seen that with T? Says my most anticipated for the rest of the year is Craven. Hey, someone has to anticipate it. You are Sony's favorite person right now, man. I know you're totally joking, but you are Sony's favorite person right now. Have you seen that with T? Says, "Damn, I miss Felicity Smoke. She was great during the early seasons of Arrow." Yeah, I only really saw her in the crossover episodes. I never really watched Arrow. The Ace Avenue says, "T, imagine if Craven is the movie of the year." Well, then I'll be eating some tissues if it's the movie of the year, because that would get a strong recommend. I will be shocked if Craven gets a strong recommend. It could be good. The creative team behind it definitely has more hits behind it than the people behind Madam Web and Morbius did. I'm still just like, it's Sony, though. I just don't have any faith in it. Nathan's Random Movie says, "It bothers me that Daniel got kidnapped and he had to get out of a dog cage, knows who kidnapped him, and doesn't call the police. Also, why have they not called the cops on Kreese yet?" There's a lot of times they should have called the cops. Remember when his house got destroyed? He could have done some stuff there too. You just it's Cobra Kai logic, and you just have to go with it. But it's so true. Have you seen that with T? Says Sony is going to bookend 2024 with two of the best comic book movies of the year, Madam Web and Craven. Yep. Oh, they started the year and they're gonna end the year. Oh, that's funny. The 8th Avenue says Felicity is, dare I say, smoking. No comment. Have you seen that? With T says she is a smoke show. Oh my goodness, you guys. Enviro 2 says Felicity made Oliver a better person. Good for her. I'm glad. This is all Arrow talk now. The 8th Avenue says Gypsy was my girl in the Arrowverse. Enviro says Patty from The Flash is the hottest in real life. No comment. Nathan's Random Movie says Nick Cage might be my favorite actor. He's definitely one actor to watch out for. You never know what you're going to get with Nick Cage. And he's on a bit of a renaissance right now, or he was a couple of years back. But I'm very curious to see what kind of Nick Cage we're going to get in the Spider-Man Noir series. Enviro 2 says, imagine if James Gunn made a Legends of Tomorrow series or movie, would be perfect for his tone. I liked that show for probably the first 3 or 4 seasons on the CW. And I do think they would lend themselves pretty well to a James Gunn movie. We'll have to wait and see. Enviro 2 says, I would love that. Enviro 2, you agree? All right. The 8th Avenue says, yeah, I recommend High School Musical, the series. If you like the movies, you'll love the whole series. Ricky and Gina, one of my fave couples. You said they're better than Troy and Gabriella, man, which I take offense to. Have you seen that? What D says? Legends was too good for the CW. It started to get weird though when it went like with Constantine and it ditched the whole time travel thing and got more, mystical and supernatural. It was kind of weird. The 8th Avenue says Legends of Tomorrow season 1 was great. Huge drop off after that. I agree. Although I did like season 2 when they introduced the historian character. I can't remember what his name was. One thing that was interesting about Legends of Tomorrow was you never knew who was going to leave the show or who was going to die. And that was kind of cool. Kept the stakes up. Enviro 2 says others would argue that Legends became Legends during the crazy seasons 3 or 4. Yeah, that was kind of when I started to drop off the show a bit. Have you seen that? With T says, I like it when it went wacky and didn't take itself so seriously. Me too, man. Me too. Bebo. Yes, Bebo. Oh, all hail Bebo. Bebo, that's a throwback for me, man. Enviro 2 says the DVD and Blu-ray box art has Bebo, looks awesome. I got to get that on Blu-ray, man. The 8th Avenue says Anthony is Anthony. Thank you, not Ethan. Anthony. Man, that was bothering me. Thank you, Ace. Enviro 2 says, do you think Jim Carrey will return for Sonic 4? Well, he said he wasn't going to return for Sonic 3, and look how that turned out. I do think there'll be a Sonic 4. I'll say yes. Because he said he retired before, and then he came back to Sonic 3. One of the reasons I'm looking forward to Sonic 3 is because it seems to be the only place I'm going to get my Jim Carrey fix for a while, because Jim Carrey only seems to want to do Sonic movies at this point, and I love Jim Carrey. So if the only place I can see him is Sonic movies, I will be at the Sonic movies. Enviro 2 says, what would happen if the Mask met Dr. Robotnik? A whole lot of chaos. And I think the Mask would end up killing Dr. Robotnik in some way. The 8th Avenue says, what's your next collectible that you want to add to your display? My next collectible? I don't really look. I would love to get like a Robert Pattinson Batman bust, because I love the Robert. There's a couple DC busts that I've got to get, because this is very Marvel and Star Wars. I'd love to get some DC mixed in there. But nothing specific. I'd love to get a really great Anakin bust, like not Darth Vader, but like actual Anakin from like Revenge of the Sith, like a hot toy, but those cost like $1,500, so I can't afford that. But I'd love to get, because I love the character of Anakin, so I'd love to get an Anakin bust. Have you seen that? With T says, next thing I'm adding to my shelf is a WWE title. Nice, man. I don't know anything about wrestling, but that sounds cool. The Laser says, is it just me because I hated CW Supergirl? I love John Campia's rant about that version of Superman because, wow, it was terrible. Yeah, I remember I was listening to John Campia live when he went on that rant. It was hilarious. Some John Campia rants are just unforgettable. But I watched the first like 3 episodes, and I watched the Flash crossover that happened with the Supergirl show. Never got into it. I never got into that Supergirl show. I don't know why. Enviro 2 says, completely forgot about Craven. What's the most underrated Christmas movies? Ooh, the underrated Arthur Christmas is kind of like loved in the movie community, but it's pretty underrated in general. I never saw Klaus on Netflix, but people tell me that's underrated. As far as Christmas movies that I've seen, this is not underrated, but I totally just had like a flashback that Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever exists, and I watched that movie. And I don't know why that popped into my mind. That's not underrated. It's a terrible movie. Remember Grumpy Cat? That meme? That was crazy. But yeah, Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas. Or was it Grumpy Cat's Best? No, it had to be Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas. I can't believe that was a real movie. That just flashed to my mind. I'll go Arthur Christmas for sure is underrated. And Violent Night, which is technically you could make the Die Hard argument. Is that a Christmas movie? And I would argue, yes. It's got Santa. It's got Christmas magic. It's got a Christmas message. And Violent Night is great. So people should watch Violent Night. Have you seen that with T says Family Man is the most underrated Christmas movie? It's okay. It's okay. I didn't like that Family Man all that much. My wife showed that to me actually like our first Christmas together. And it was okay. But I don't know if I'd say it was underrated. The Laser says Jim Carrey is retiring and he's selling his house in Hollywood. Yeah, Jim Carrey hates Hollywood. He's made that very clear. I'm not surprised by that. And he said he's retiring before, and then he came back for Sonic 3. So there's no real reason to think that he won't come back for Sonic 4. But I'm just gonna be sad when we don't have Jim Carrey making comedies and movies anymore. Enviro Earth 2 says there's been rumors that the Batman 2 is canceled. Either way, it's a big delay. No, it's not canceled. Batman 2 is not canceled. They're not. There's no way that they would cancel Batman 2. No, don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. It's not canceled. Enviro Earth 2 says the Flash and Supergirl crossovers was great. Yeah, those the best crossover that they ever did. Although, granted, I didn't see the last one they did. The first couple episodes of Flash season 8 or whatever it was. I never saw that one. But the best one that I saw that they did was Crisis on Earth X. Yeah, Crisis on Earth X. That crossover was phenomenal for the CW, for all the shows coming together. That was like the Infinity War of the CW universe. that was a really well put together crossover. I enjoyed those 4 or 5 nights, whatever it was, so much, and I was so happy when I got Flash season 4. Was it season 3? No, season 3 was the invasion. I think it's if I remember correctly. Can't grab this. If I remember correctly, I believe. Yep, all 4 epic DC crossover episodes of Crisis on Earth X. Yep. It's on Flash season 4. I was so happy when I picked up Flash season 4 on Blu-ray and read the back that it comes with all the episodes of Crisis on Earth X, because one of the things I hated about the Flash season 3 release on Blu-ray was they only gave you the crossover episode of Flash's episode. They didn't give you Arrow, they didn't give you Legends or anything like that. So it's literally, when you watch the Blu-ray, it's like Cisco is mad at the Flash because of Flashpoint, and then that gets resolved in Arrow's part of the crossover. And so on the Blu-ray, it's like Cisco's mad at Flash. He's still mad at Flash in the crossover. And then the next episode, everything's all cool and dandy and nothing's resolved because those episodes are on the Arrow Blu-ray. And I thought that was such a cheap marketing thing to get me to buy all the Blu-rays. So I was very happy when they changed their minds and put all the episodes of Earth X on the Flash season 4 Blu-ray. Whew, that's my little Flash rant. But yeah, that Crisis was phenomenal. Crisis on Infinite Earths, not so much. Have you seen that with T says I love the entire Arrowverse. It was a time, man. It was such a time. I loved it so much. When the Arrowverse on CW was firing on all cylinders, Marvel had the best movie universe. DC had the best TV universe when it came to the CW. I never really got into the Marvel TV side of things at that time. Sully Stream says best Christmas movie of all time is Klaus on Netflix. Believe what you hear, Zach. I'm gonna watch it this year. I think this is the year I'm gonna watch it. Enviro 2 says I want a Christmas Chronicles 3. They made it 2. I saw the first one. I never saw the second one. I thought it was a pretty decent little family kids Christmas movie, but what's his is it Kurt Russell? That sounds somewhat right, but also not right. But I'm gonna say Kurt Russell as Santa was inspired. That was great. Have you seen that with T says I watch Family Man every year with the wife? Oh, that's sweet, man. That's awesome. Have you seen it with T? Says it hasn't been delayed. Batman Part 2 hasn't been delayed, I'm guessing is what you're saying. Inviter 2 says, do you like Polar Express? I love the hot chocolate song. Yeah, I like Polar Express. Wouldn't say it's underrated. I think it's pretty excuse me, well regarded. My sister's fiance, that's his favorite Christmas movie, so we watched it last year. I enjoy it. I don't love it, but I enjoy it for what it is. And the hot chocolate song is pretty great. Have you seen it? He says yes. Crisis was great on the CW. Yeah, they killed it. Crisis was great. Yeah, Invite Earth agrees. Invite Earth 2 says, what's the best series finale you watched? Series finale. Well, like I said, my favorite show of all time is Friends, and I thought they nailed that series finale. That's a really good question. What's the best series finale I've ever watched? That's a thinker, man. That's a good one. I'm gonna say I'm just gonna stick with Friends because it's my favorite show. I love the way it ends. I'm gonna stick with Friends, but I'd have to think on that, man. That's a good question. The laser says, good night, Zach. Love the stream and hope you have a good night. I have Thanksgiving break, so I am so happy. Dude, enjoy your Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a great time with friends and family. Eat lots of food, indulge yourself, don't be shy, eat as much as you want. It's the Thanksgiving times. And thank you so much for being here, dude. The show was made better because you were a part of it, my friend, and I appreciate you, dude. You have a good night. Have you seen that with T says justice for Brandon Routh, Superman? Yeah, I feel bad for Brandon Routh, man. I mean, man, can you imagine that big of a break? You're Superman. You're actually supposed to be Christopher Reeve's Superman, continuing the story all these years later. And then the movie comes out, it's just a dud. It doesn't really do anything for your career. And oh, yeah, I feel bad for him. But I'm really glad that they let him be Superman in the CW Infinite Earths crossover, even though it was on the CW. It's not in the theater. It was just nice to see that he kind of got to do that because Brandon Routh, a pretty underrated actor. I wish he was in more stuff. Enviro 2 says Breaking Bad is known as the best. Breaking Bad has a phenomenal series finale. Absolutely. I was very satisfied by the series finale of Breaking Bad. Is it my favorite? That whole show is immaculate. It's fantastic. It's definitely up there. I don't know if it's my favorite though. Have you seen that with T says The Office is up there for me? That's a pretty good one. I don't know. The Office got really shaky for me in seasons 8 and 9, and I liked how they tied the whole documentary angle that they did into the finale of The Office, and it was very sweet when they went back to the office itself and they kind of said their goodbye and it was their last time. And getting Steve Carell in there was great. Is it the best series finale I've ever seen, though? I don't think I would say so, but that's also someone who's like not as hot on The Office as a lot of people are. Enviro Earth 2 says, just corrected his misspelling. The Ace Avenue says, it's midnight my time. It's officially Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I don't know what you guys do in the States. I don't know. Happy Thanksgiving, dude. Enjoy the turkey. Eat the meat. The white, the dark, doesn't matter. I hope you have a great time. And wow, we made it to midnight your time, dude. So I appreciate you being here for that long. Enviro 2 says, what happened in the Drake and Josh series finale? Well, it's interesting because a lot of people will say that it didn't have a series finale, but they just kind of aired it out of order. So Really Big Shrimp, the 45-minute episode, that's a TV movie, but it's an episode, that is clearly the series finale. Like after Really Big Shrimp aired came Helicopter and Dance Partner or Dance Contest, sorry, which were just kind of like one-off episodes. They didn't really lead into anything, and those were the last episodes that aired. So people think that Drake and Josh just got canceled, but if you watch Really Big Shrimp, even though it came before those two episodes, Really Big Shrimp is clearly the series finale. Drake gets a record deal, his dreams come true to become a popular musician, and then Josh gets to be manager of the theater. He gets the gold vest. Like, I mean, it's not big ambitions for life, but as far as the show goes, those were the two things the characters were working towards, Drake being a musician and Josh being manager of the theater. And they got those things in the end. And watch Really Big Shrimp with the mindset that this is a series finale. It is clearly what they intended to be the series finale of Drake and Josh. So Drake and Josh does end with Really Big Shrimp, even though there's 2 episodes that technically aired after that came out. That is the finale. Dude, I bring me the trivia for Drake and Josh iCarly. I got it in my head. Bring it. Enviro 2 says, if Superman 2025 gets a 7 out of 10 rating, would it be good enough? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good. The movie doesn't have to be 10 out of 10 perfect for it to be successful. I just have to enjoy it. I just have to have fun. It can have flaws. Every movie's going to have flaws. Every movie's going to have negatives and things you don't like more than others. But 7 out of 10, that'd be great. If Superman got 7 out of 10, that's a good movie. That's a good job on James Gunn. Have you seen that with T? Says, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. The 8th Avenue says, by the way, the best way to end series, in my opinion, is to give each character sends off individually, like Big Bang Theory. Love that ending. I don't remember loving the Big Bang Theory ending all that much. I remember that Sheldon won an award. He won the Nobel Prize or whatever, but I don't know why. I don't really remember liking it that much. I've only seen it once, so I gotta go back and watch. I hated, like everybody hates, I hated the How I Met Your Mother series finale. That was probably the worst I've ever seen. Have you seen that with T? Says everybody hates Lost's ending, but I cried like a baby and loved it. I've never seen Lost, and one of the reasons I've never seen Lost is because a lot of people in my life have told me Lost is great, but the ending sucks. And I'm just like, well, why would I go on this journey of these hours spent in a TV show that's just going to end with me being like, oh, this sucks? So I've never watched Lost for that reason. The 8th Avenue says, I know you haven't watched the finale episode of Cobra Kai yet, but that locker room scene where everybody reconciled felt like it should have ended there. Oh, that was in the last episode, right? Yeah, that was very sweet. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Even though Devin was in that scene. So mean. Enviro Earth 2 says, any Christmas shows you can recommend? Any Christmas shows like that you haven't seen? I don't know, man. I mean, like the Guardians Holiday Special is great. Rudolph is great. Frosty the Snowman's great. I don't know, man. The Toy Story That Time Forgot is a pretty good Toy Story Christmas special that's out there on Disney Plus. I don't know. Yeah, there's not many Christmas shows. There was this show when I was a kid. I haven't watched it for years. I don't even know where you would find it, but it was called The Secret Life of Santa Claus. It's the only show that I can think of that's like a legit Christmas show. Maybe I'm remembering the title wrong. Secret Life of Santa. It played every on a channel here that was kind of similar to Cartoon Network called Teletoon. It played every December. It was like this limited series, The Secret Life of Santa Claus. Am I remembering this right? Is this an actual show? Put it in the chat, guys, if you remember a show called The Secret Life of Santa Claus. I might have the title wrong. Nope, this is it. This is it. Yeah, this is the only. I don't know if it holds up. I haven't seen it for a very long time. But The Secret World of Santa. That's what it's called. The Secret World of Santa. This was on in my childhood on Teletoon in Canada every December. I think it had like 2 seasons. Maybe that's not it. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, The Secret World of Santa. It was a pretty fun show. I can't speak to how it holds up as an adult. It probably doesn't, but that's the only like Christmas show that I can think of that isn't well known that might be worth checking out. But like I said, I have no idea where you would find it. Have you seen that with T? Says The Good Place had a really good ending. Never saw that. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was great too. I don't think I ever finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I didn't finish a lot of shows that you guys are mentioning. Have you seen that with T? Says, yeah, I don't care about the rating of movies as long as I have a good time. Yeah. As long as you have a good time. It's gonna vary for people, but as long as I have a good time walking out, I'm happy. Enviro2 says, do you think Hollywood or celebrity culture will do anything to address its drug problems after what happened to Matthew Perry and Liam Payne? Maybe fame leads to these deaths. Or is it the families responsible to get them to stop doing drugs? That's a deep question. I think that there's some people who will try to put things in place, but ultimately I don't think you can save everybody. And so I think it's a bigger issue than just that. I don't know. I am not equipped, nor am I in the position to give thoughts and opinions on that. I am no way am I. The Ace Avenue though is say, oh, whoops, did I skip one? Have you seen that with Tia saying the characters are what made Lost great and they wrapped everyone's arc to me. Oh, well, that's good, man. I'm glad it worked for you because everyone I talk to about Lost, they say the ending just sucks and it makes me sad. The Ace Avenue says Hawkeye is a Christmas show I recommend. Oh yeah, Hawkeye is kind of a Christmas show. Yeah, that was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. Enviro 2 says, or is I already got that one. Have you seen it with Star Wars Christmas special? Yeah, if you can find it, it's worth the trip. It's pretty ridiculous. Enviro 2 says, what's the best animated Christmas episode? Mine would be American Dad Goes from Christmas Past with Lisa Kudrow. The best Christmas animated episode? My gosh. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, this is younger, but Phineas and Ferb had a good one. Phineas and Ferb had a good one on Disney Channel. Also, Phineas and Ferb had a really funny and clever Star Wars special where they put the characters in the middle of A New Hope. It actually works really well canonically with what happens in A New Hope in the first Star Wars. Even though Phineas and Ferb is a younger viewed audience on Disney Plus, it's there. I would recommend if you're a Star Wars fan to check out the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special. It was really entertaining. Have you seen that with T says drugs are why we get such great movies? I mean, you're not wrong, but you know, I was gonna say something really inappropriate there, so I really shouldn't. Screw it. Drugs and sexual assault. Am I right? No, I should have just kept it to myself. But it's true. Drugs are why we get such great movies. It's getting late. I'm starting to get off the rails here. Have you seen that with T says you think they created Willy Wonka clean and sober? Yeah, there was a ton of drugs. Mixed in with that, I'm sure. Empire Earth 2 says the lost ending is good because it brings out the emotions. Okay, so someone else saying that they enjoyed the lost ending. I'm glad to hear it. Let's see here. Empire Earth 2 says the best 3 endings: Breaking Bad, 6 Feet Under, and Lost. I've never even heard of 6 Feet Under. Maybe I've heard of it, but I've definitely never seen it. Yeah, Breaking Bad, it's got a good one, definitely. And the epilogue that they did, that movie El Camino, was also pretty good. I liked that because the one loose end that I did feel when I finished Breaking Bad was Jesse's story. Like Walt's ended pretty appropriately, but Jesse was kind of the loose thread. He was kind of hanging at the end. So the way that El Camino kind of worked as Jesse's epilogue to Breaking Bad, I also like that too. Days Avenue says, I didn't think I'd hear that tonight. Yeah, well, that's probably a sign that it's almost time to stop. Days Avenue said, have a good night, everybody. Well, thank you so much, Ace, for being here, for joining, for all the support, and sending in the super chat, my friend. The show was made better because you were a part of it, and I appreciate you, dude. You have a good night. We've also got Enviro Earth 2 saying you need to watch Dexter, man. It's criminal. You haven't seen it. Yeah, I've been told to watch it, but I don't know, serial killer. I never got around to it. But I hear it's good. I do hear it's good, so I do have to get on that. And with Ace, or with T, sorry, saying have a great night, Ace, it looks like we have reached the end of the comments and questions. So before I say something that's going to get me canceled, which I feel like I might have already done, I should get off of here. So thank you, everybody, for joining for this episode of Zach Milne Talks Live. I had a great time talking with you guys. Thank you to everyone who contributed in the chat. Thank you to everyone who sent in the super chat and support. Jay Pylon, the Ace Avenue, Dark Room Reviews. Appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, guys, that this isn't the only show we do. Actually, I shouldn't bring this up. We do have Members Talk Live every Saturday. It won't be this Saturday, though, because I have to work this Saturday, and you guys have Thanksgiving. So have a great Thanksgiving to all of you guys in the States. I hope that it's full of turkey, laughter, friends, and family. If I was just saying, don't worry, we all say the wrong thing. Yeah, it happens every now and again. Thank you guys so much. The show's made better because you were all a part of it, and I appreciate you. I'll see you guys next time. Same exact time, same exact channel.